Welcome everyone to another week of Clash Royale League Asia. My name is Joel Sophie and joining with me is going to be G-Clef as always, and we're here for the second week. Still on the regionals, guys, and really going on to see which region has the strongest foot. It's definitely difficult to tell once we get the regions clashing against each other, but for the time being, we still get to look at the respective regions in their individuality.
It is basically the same. We had the same first week, Southeast Asia, Korea, and Japan. And we went back to the early part of Season 1 where we just had those different metas for each region. Southeast Asia having lots of golem, the slow ones, speed downs. Korea having one of its own with lots of poison. Pretty similar for Japan, have a lot of poison and big, small cycling decks, as Japanese would love to do that all the time. It will be exciting when they actually clash against each other starting next week. But until this week, we're going to do that same once again.
It is the last time that we'll be in the regionals before we go on to the conference division when Korea, Japan, and Southeast Asia, all these three regions, will be clashing against each other. So really exciting news as to what we're going to get from all these three sides, because we saw that Japan was clearly the best team and best series of region out there when it came to the Season 1 performances. But it is a little more difficult to tell nowadays since with Southeast Asia, we saw them in last Friday, and they did pretty well, and it seemed they surprised us with certain teams doing a little bit better than our previous anticipations really had them in.
Yep, and so far we had a lot of 2-0s. We only had one match actually going to King of the Hill. I think that we should be having a lot more of those as other regions like NAU, they are also having those pretty cool ones, but you see different cards coming out from the western and the eastern side of things, but we do have the overview. Let's check this out first.
And we're going to look at the format. This is the most important thing that has changed if you guys kind of used to us from the Season 1 aspects. We're going to starting off with the 2v2 with a best of 3 obviously, and 1v1 for that set 2 and set 3. If it does go to it, it is going to get that King of the Hill. The first time we got to see it was during the playoff, the latter part of that Season 1 of that previous few months ago. But we're going back to that one. 3v3 all kill is another way of calling it. That's going to be some of the important overviews to kind of keep our look at.
Yeah, another thing that changed, they actually select the ban card an hour before the actual match, so they have less time to actually make the decks, but they should have more time in general before the broadcast goes on. So that's one other thing that you should keep in mind. But for that third set, King of the Hill, they still do have that 3-1 because the ban card, they will choose it after the second set, so that just comes along right after.
And it really means that the first two sets will be running a lot more quicker than we saw from that first season. But now we're going on to the standings and looking at what the teams have been up to. Really, Kingzone top of the hill when it comes to the Korean aspect of things. Japan has been really dominated by Detonation Gaming, not losing a single game quite, the only team to do so.
Yeah, and also they had a crazy matchup with GameWith versus Ponos. That was a crazy one going to the third set. That was the only one actually from last weekend going to King of the Hill. Everything else 2-0, very straightforward. I expect to see a lot like that this week as well. And also Kingzone just dominating with his kind of onto the other side. Also Sandbox picking one up, so it's also a pretty good match last week.
And we also got to look at Southeast Asia just a little bit last week. It was a triangular relationship when it came to winning, then losing, just win trading, unintentionally of course, but we are still looking at certain teams out there. Now we get this new team that we haven't seen all last week, and that is going to be Chaos Theory. They're going to be playing 2 matches, and actually 3 matches today,
yes,
just to make sure they get the 3 games before the end of week 2. Of course, this will be not all completely even because we will have another series of 2 weeks before we get to the playoffs. That will happen in the latter, almost to the end of the season. But other means, we're still going to look at Southeast Asia. These 3 teams that we're going to be taking a look at. Should be interesting to see how they face up against Chaos Theory.
It's even better because we come back to the region after we go against each other with all the region. So the meta should be very shifted by that time, and then you go back to the original. Are they going to play back to the original form where they had their own meta on their own region, or are they going to play a little different? I expect this later one, of course. That's going to be coming in the last 2 weeks before the postseason, which will be another interesting part that's just added into Season 2.
And this will be the last time that you guys will be able to see Southeast Asia go up against each other before we get to week 3, where they will be clashing off against the different regions, Korea and Japan, as their opponents. So be sure to look out for them and see how each individual team does. And now you get to kind of see an idea of certain teams performing a little bit better and our expectations kind of heading towards certain teams out there. So it should be very interesting week 2 because we're gonna closing out the regionals for this weekend. We're gonna see what we can expect coming from week 3.
Well, for starting from today, you're going to see a lot of beatdown. I'm just expecting that unless we have some bans specifically for it. Talking about the bans, we do have the cannon card ban for that 2v2.
And cannon card makes a lot of sense in that 2v2. We talked about it a little bit before the broadcast that cannon card in 1v1 can be stoppable in terms of Valkyrie. Any type of melee ground units can stop the cannon card. That's already a mission successful right there. But if you do have it in the 2v2, 2 cannon cards is a real head scratcher when it comes to having that always in a stress for you that you have to deal with all the time.
That's certainly right, but we do have to talk about the other ban card, Inferno Dragon, which means every spell is available. Tornado, Poison, Rocket. Tornado being open for 2v2 actually kills a lot of the cycling cards like the Barrel or the Miner because you can just activate the King Tower now with the last patch. King Tower actually does the same damage it used to do. A little bit less damage, but it's actually stronger now in terms of damage. So you do not want to have the King Tower, especially in 2v2, having 2 cannons attacking 1 unit.
And really is going to be a spell-free in terms of 2v2. Maybe the first time we've gotten in a very long time in terms of not having that Tornado, not having that Poison banned out of this 2v2. Means that the beatdown should be on a highway, freeway to success. And which team gets the better of it, we're going to have to find out in this next game coming up.
We have the Chaos Theory. They're going to play their first game of Season 2. We have Benzo Rider, JTV, Ray Bagas, Carolus. New one in the team. Expect them to do well because they had a lot of beatdowns, but sometimes they were having some weird ones like the Sparky. They were the ones and coming out with a win because you don't really expect a Sparky to be in your opponent's deck sometimes.
It really is, and we did get to see which sets they will be playing in. It's going to be against this team, HQ Esports, with HQ Sake coming in from set 1 along with Yao Yao, and Master Hall is going to be the one to be back on that 1v1 role over SB. So SB got a playtime on his debut for this team last week around. Wasn't to the best of standings, but obviously with the other team doing pretty well. But it is going to be Master Hall who did pick up a win, come back on the 1v1.
Oh yeah, very strong. Certainly he had a pretty good showing on the first one, but Shaka Yaya, they were the pair, they're the known pair. But for Chaos Theory, we actually do not know what they're actually holding. You see the old players, we do have the half of the team with the old player, but the new players, we actually did not get to see them play yet, so we'll get to find that out very soon.
And speaking of new players, we'll get a whole bunch of new players from Chaos Theory. We talk about Benzo Rido and Carolus not even joining us for that Season 1. We're used to Ray Baggers and JTV, but you know, JTV teaming up with Benzo Rido this time around, and you know, we're gonna have Ray Baggers on that 1v1 role. We'll see how they do with the three of them.
We do have the Tornadoes, so maybe this is a game where we just see a lot of the giant skeletons. I think that's certainly possible. Even with the Golem, if you just drag, if you double that Tornado, you can buy so much time. If you have the Tombstone plus the Tornadoes, Golem's kind of weak, soft, not very hard. Of course, they're really heavy, so they don't really get dragged as quickly as the other ones. But still, if you have double the Tornado, you can actually drag it towards the other way sometimes if you have the perfect ones. If you have Mirror, it sometimes works as well. So we can kind of see funky spell cards just in the middle because Tornado is allowed for this 2v2.
I mean, the fact that the Tornado is enabled for this 2v2, G-Clev, is that you know, we're gonna see something that we haven't seen from an entire 2v2 that we've seen from Clash Royale League so far. Even from Season 1 and Season 2 altogether. Not much Tornado has been enabled in these 2v2s. Now we do have it with other cards kind of coming up to power with the cannon card being so powerful in itself, and obviously with the Infernal Dragon has been a big priority in terms of ban for AHQ for the past 2 weeks. So now we don't know what that will actually translate to for what we're gonna see in the actual games, but should be very interesting nonetheless, getting the Tornado and the Poison back to the field.
And sometimes, weirdly enough, we do have a few teams from Southeast Asia just straight up changing everything into air in 2v2. And lots of Lava Hound, lots of Minion Horde, along with the Balloon, of course. That could also be a thing because Infernal Dragon is banned. Maybe we should be thinking about the Infernal Tower as well, but it's not as common in that 2v2, so that's actually not a bad idea to come up with.
And you do say that the Infernal Tower is a priority, but if we don't get that, maybe we should just go with all lava loons up in the air and really have not many units be able to stop these very successfully. Of course, you do have the Mega Minion, which is the best anti-air when it comes to the cost efficiency, but otherwise, we are going to get very unique composition, or maybe just a straightforward composition with the Golem beatdown. Could be a possibility with the Tornado. Everything disabled should make it a lot easier to push that thing.
Well, Joel, I know your favorite. Mega Knight might just come back and squash everything in on the ground and just make the push like that, because the one enemy against that Mega Knight is that card right there, Inferno Dragon.
Yeah.
If that's banned away, Mega Knight still is a very powerful tool. We only talk about Golem, the Giant, and the P.E.K.K.A. sometimes, but we can't forget about that bad boy.
Big cards right there, unavailable for use, and talk about that Tornado into the Mega Knight, smash down into the ground.
Oh, yes.
We could definitely see that combination come through this time around with all these spells enabled. Literally no spell has been banned. If you talk about Inferno Dragon being kind of a spell, you can tell that otherwise, but other fact of the matter is that we're gonna see very much a free deck and free all for all, and see what that will mean into the actual transition into play. So in any minute now, I think we should get into the game very soon, G-Clip, and should be very exciting to get this first game going.
We did even see some giant snowballs in action, just to have some delays and to actually push the air units as well, because that's into effect now. And giant snowball, you can get so much value out of it. If you have a lot of small units, you can just do some damage, even against the Goblin Gang. Sometimes you take small spear damage, but that's basically getting an elixir. But over time, if you get that stacked up, you will basically have the win because of those.
You do remember what Giant Snowball is so good at. It is against the Inferno Dragon, which kind of stops the charge into any type of big units out there. So, whenever you want to use it to knock that Inferno Dragon back, which now has a shorter range to get its charge on, means that could make it very effective against that very pesky Inferno Dragon that could be on that defense. But this time around, we're not going to have the Inferno Dragon, so maybe Giant Snowball will be less effective use, but we will get to see it in a couple instances and see if that actually comes along. We're going to have a little bit of difficulty, though, I think, the headset's being adjusted on the side of Chaos Theory.
Yeah. So you do want to have perfect communication going into 2v2. If you do not have your mic or the audio working, it may actually be an issue. If you want to have perfect communication, because one split second, if you make a mistake or late for something, you will be losing your tower, at least scratching and damage. Half of the HP will be gone out in a matter of seconds. So just want to check it out before you go ahead into. Let's talk about Tornado, how it actually affects here, because we actually see a lot. It's not the common style from Southeast Asia, from Korea and Japan. Minor Poison, such a strong card, but with that Tornado, do you really risk it all here, all in on the first game 2v2, and then you use it against the Tornado? Well, there are safety spots you can actually try to use it, but it's quite risky all the time.
And you did talk about that Miner. If you do send it in the wrong position, it can get lured into the King's Tower with that Tornado and enable that King's Tower, which makes it so much more difficult to push that into. But you do say, if you do see the Tornado being enabled and knowing that your opponents will most likely use it, just make sure you position that Miner smartly, just to make sure you can get the chip damage without getting punished on the other end. But as you did say, G-Clev, lots of uses for that Tornado. We'll get to see it finally in this game 1 between Chaos Theory and HQ Esports. Chaos Theory coming up with no wins, no losses. First game being played on this week 2, with HQ already having an experience of the CRL Season 2 so far, with 1 win and 1 loss so far.
This is what we're going to have again. Air from Chaos Theory. I was saying it, expecting it a little bit. Not this early on, though. Golem with the charge on it should be faster to get all the way in.
We're going to get the tombstone just to make sure we can lure that in. And those little skeletons that are summoning every single time is going to be just driving that Prince to disaster. And now you see the first use of that Tornado, but it's going to be the charge in. And that's going to be a good use of that Fireball for now. But can it get a couple of hits? The Baby Dragon is still getting some charges in now.
So this is the matchup which really favors HQ, because they have, even against the Tornado, they not just have Golem, they have Prince. And also Valkyrie now that should be pushing in. So that's exactly what they were looking for. Tornado with the Miner, they kind of knew that was coming, very likely. But I guess they wanted to just have that onto the other side so they get a little more value of what they were pushing with.
And we were talking about that right before this game began, that putting the position on that Miner effectively is the best thing you can do, but you kind of would have guaranteed that your opponents had the Tornado, and sending a Miner like that, you will get punished every single time here, G-Cliv. And Now it seems like the trading of HP is so beneficial towards HQ, they're gonna just push on the other side.
Yeah, they don't. Not the 4 or 3 on the left. They don't really have to spend that much time to actually have that down. So they want to start their second one already because Lava Hound, it's very slow. It doesn't really do too much damage directly. If you left alone, it will eventually. But compared to Golem, you can't really compare the damage that's going to happen.
You talk about that perfect timing of that Mega Man just to make sure that the flying machine does not land onto the towers. And eventually it is going to be 13-16 altogether. And once again, a miner being sent to the back. Very effectively defended out by HQ, but the flying machine comes in very naked there, and you know it's not going to get that much damage in.
Actually, KS got very good damage in, with the area damage from the Baby Dragon actually sending the miner all the way back, drawing the Valkyrie around that tower, down to 1475, but they do have to get to manage one down at least. Half down, but you have to choose one. 30 seconds to go.
So you're going to need 2 fireballs to get that down. 1 poison is in play to get that tombstone out of the play, and we're going to see if this can charge in, and the Dark Prince does not get its way in. We're still going to see this be moving on, of course, 1 fireball away from defeating that tower, and does get that down in 81. It's going to be good enough to take it, but can they defend against this? Of course, it's a pushing unit now. 935, it doesn't seem like it's going to be defeated out by Chaos 3, seemingly losing for game 1 here.
It was a really bad matchup, and with the speed, it seems like the Lava Hound and the Golem, they're very slow, both of them, but when you have charging units, the Dark Prince and the Prince charging it up, you gain that speed behind the Golem. It's actually so much faster, plus you get the charge. If you start off, you can't really do as much damage.
And let us talk about that first push from both teams, because I think that was the most significant one, where clearly AHQ had won out in terms of damage trade. Just all-out air units starting from the Lava Loon, and we obviously didn't see Balloon in the end, but it was going to be a Lava Hound with the Mega Minion pushing in the back. Baby Dragon just trying to help out with the AoE, but we saw a full all-in push on the other side from HQ, pushing with that Golem, with the Prince on the very start of the game. How did you see that push? Obviously kind of challenging each other, and most of the damage went to the ground units.
This 2v2, it really tells us that Chaos Theory does not really think about the defensive. Clash Royale is much more of a defensive game, I would say, than offensive. You have to get your defense first. Make sure you actually have somewhat defense, or at least trade better all the time, so that you actually have a better trade every single time. That's how you win games. But when you just do not have the ground units, when you have the Tombstone to get the skeletons, but only the Prince to actually get the charge, but then there's a poison to actually get all the skeletons out, then you can't really do too much. They had way too many warrior units focused on, not on the ground. They should be focusing a little bit more.
And we'll see if Ben Torado and JTV can focus a little bit more on defense this time as we start off game 2. We're going to start off with the Tombstone on the other end with the Miner, hoping to land any of those skeletons out there, but it's going to be one of those once again. Of course, the Fireball going towards the Magic Archer means that these Royal Hogs need a little more defensive supplements to get this down, and we're going to see this P.E.K.K.A. just getting dragged in. Once again, 1 swipe away from the defensive P.E.K.K.A. to get that down.
Just to get extra damage from the other Princess Tower a little bit. It's not the most effective tornado we've seen, but I think they just wanted to cycle that early on. Ooh, there's another one dragging the Miner all the way top. And
once again, you see the Zappies doing such a good job, not even taking a single hit from that P.E.K.K.A. Now, can they use the Fireballs a little bit more effectively this time? The Royal Hosts are coming in, and nothing is being done.
No Valkyrie this time, and Tornado has been used to drag that P.E.K.K.A.
Oh no!
Just 10 seconds ago, so they will take some damage, actually quite significant on the left side.
We don't get to see the Elixir status of all these teams here, but you just have to imagine that Elixir was so low on the side of Chaos Theory, not being able to defend that properly.
They do have the Valkyrie, and the first response again, but it's going to be a problem, and the Lava Hound once again. They're looking for a miracle in this game.
It really is, and you talk about that Fireball being used on those 2 pigs out there, and that's not the best effective use, but you really have no choice with that Valkyries on the left side. You have nothing else to defend against the Royal Hogs onto the right side.
As long as they get the flying machine, and the second one goes down with the Mega Minion and the Baby Dragon. So this Lava Hound is very ineffective when they can actually have their own push AHQ. They will be gathering their elixirs right now for the next push.
I mean, that Fireball did get rid of it, but otherwise, really no effective use coming out of series for now. And it seems like HQ, knowing what they're doing, you're just going to push it with the Valkyrie here on the bridge.
Yeah. perfect one. They have and the poison again.
Oh.
Skeletons, it's gone. They have the tornado, but they don't have anything like a baby dragon to do splash damage right
The
there.
Royal Hogs, they're still at it. No troll for them to do in additional damage out there. 793 on the left, 985 on the right. Means that just one more defense shots here coming in from HK. That should be the win for them.
Yeah, that was a very nice fireball though, so they can actually push this one through. They can't really do too much damage, but they do need to defend everything with their power.
And really, it's just a tombstone desperation effort to just get rid of everything in charge. But Flying Machine does a good job for now, trying to get everything out of there, but can they defend for a little bit longer? It's only a couple fireballs away.
HQ, a couple fireballs with the poison should be game, and they have to make everything work. Chaos Theory, they're so far away from taking the game. They are getting some shots with Baby Dragon down to 11, but it's not as close as what's down all the towers at the
Talk
bottom.
about a key Valkyrie doing so much good work. Just talking about just negating the damage away from that Flying Machine was actually huge. It could have been a lot more dangerous when it came to that Flying Machine if it did connect to the tower there.
Zappies are doing such a great job to slow everything down, but that's
Fireball?
going to be it after the poison, fireball, and that's 2-0, everyone. HQ takes this 2-0 again. Wow, what a strong team.
I mean, they were the starting, the opener match of the season of this last week HQ, but you know, they won that out cleanly, the most clean you can get. 2-0 on the 2v2 and 2-0 on that 1v1, and we saw that being so vulnerable to these other teams when they weren't coming out to play. And HQ, complete domination from last week's opener match and now to this opener match of week 2. It's just the same here.
They're so strong. They have confidence and their skills using the spells and their deck making is overall just a lot better than what we saw from Chaos Theory, where they're focused on air too much. I think they were really neglecting what kind of power Tornado plus the poison was actually having. So good job by HQ to actually have that all synergy. Great plays on that 2v2.
And we talked about Chaos Theory trying to utilize that tornado the best they can. They got a little bit out of it, but you know, otherwise, when you're beat down like that in that first push, and you enable the King's Tower with that miner being kind of being uncarefully being misplaced on the side of Chaos Theory, meaning that HQ is going to benefit incredibly off of those pushes right there. And obviously, 187 was not going to last for very long.
That was the first one.
Game 2 here, just to highlight incredible plays once again. And every single time the Royal Hogs were sent down, it was desperation effort on that defense. They didn't have a clear answer for any of those split Royal Hogs 2-2 on the left and right. And you know, what are you to do if you are Chaos 3 and you have no real defense for basically the main win condition of HQ, which was the Royal Hogs?
Royal Hog plus all the other spells that were burning down the tower as well, hitting the Flying Machine unit most of the time, catching the tower as well for most of the fireballs. So that I can't say that was a mistake by Chaos Theory. It was more of skill shots, basically having perfect spell use for HQ.
It is the little things talking about Chaos Theory, not putting the Flying Machine right next to your tower, so you don't give away the maximum efficiency over towards HQ with that one little fireball. And you know, all these things that are added up together, it does come up to a result. And we are going to see what that means for this 1v1. The Raybag is back up on the field for the first time this season. See how he does after his team just lost the 2v2.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, as their 2v2 was not the closest match we've seen from Clash Royale League Asia here. And Master Hong on that 1v1, I wonder what kind of deck he would like to play. We did see lots of Golem. Of course, we do see the most used card. And that's basically the meta, I think, for Southeast Asian players right now.
It really is. And 1v1, he's currently undefeated technically. Hasn't lost a single game. And we talk about his team losing out with SB on the lineup. But this is a different story, everyone, because it seems like Master Hong kind of showed us last week that he can be one of those players that we should be looking out for, and see how he does again. Should further cement that fact that we have about this player.
He brought down Jai from Bren Esports pretty quickly, 2-0. Let's see the ban cards. Tornado for 1v1 ban. Of course, we can have a lot of cycles happening if they want to go towards that meta. Let's see, we're going to see the cycle deck for the first time from Southeast Asia, which is not too common at all.
So none of those cheeky King Tower openings with the Hog Rider, anything with the Goblin Barrel, anything that nears that. It's going to be this very similar deck that we saw in the meta. I just used this before this rocket began. The Royal Hogs with the... This is going to be the first time we might just see the Mega Knight. This is actually the Mega Knight deck with the Zappies, so we might just see this once again.
We'll see.
Definitely
the minor one. With the Bandit, which is an interesting choice, not the most common one. With the Bandit, I was expecting just the bridge spam one from Ray Baggers. It's a very common one still to this day.
G-Clip, if there's no Mega Knight on Master Hong's deck, I'll buy dinner. That is a guarantee. This is a guarantee.
Thank you.
Well, you're not going to get it because I'm going to be right, because it seems like this is going to be a Mega Knight deck for sure if this isn't.
Oh, if you try to bridge spam and there's a Hog, bunch of pigs is running towards you, then it's not going to get the charge, but it's pretty well defended with the Electro Wizard.
Well, still it gets a lot of damage in.
Let's see, it's waiting for the time.
There it is, I told you.
Exactly.
I'm not buying it in.
Yes.
See the P.E.K.K.A, of course, a good counter towards the Mega Knight, but this is a good matchup when it comes to, Master Hong can constantly throw down those Royal Hogs. You talk about Ray Baggers, all those cards laid down on that tile. You see no good defensive output against those Royal Hogs here, and we'll see what this means for further output here, because it seems like even the P.E.K.K.A cannot defend down and just make it all the way to the tower here.
Master Hong had the perfect idea. Having Infernal Dragon, you kind of know that all the small units are coming, so he was holding that poison for the longest time. He burned that out as well, had the goblins taking down the miners as well.
And just really soaking up that charge damage you see right there with that front Zappy. Literally alive with 1 HP. That's all you need. And really the Bandit not going to be utilized to use here, but it's that charge in it seems like. Very close on that one. Troubling here, the miner is constantly putting out the damage. He has to get something big here. The Royal Ghost is going to be the answer coming from Ray Baggers against these Royal Hogs on that one unit.
This time Hogs do a lot of damage onto the tower directly. Poison, that's a plus. But huge push coming from Ray Baggers on the counter with the miner as well, so the bats are all the way back there. The P.E.K.K.A is coming straight to the tower now.
Now you see the Zap to get this in. Look at this incredible drag coming in from the Royal Hogs to get the Royal Ghost and also the P.E.K.K.A out of there. Now we're going to see if this can push in. There's a big push that's coming in. Mega Knight, there you go. It's finally getting in, but it's still going to be pushing in here. 126.62, and it's going to be able to get that down. The miner was not taking care of it. We're going to go to overtime here.
Just in time, and in terms of the deck, and after you bring the tower, I would actually say Master Hong might actually have a better end of things here, because he has want to squash all the ground units when there's a huge defense. Of course, there's no tornado to sync it up or synergize everything together, but when you want to go for that second tower to jump right after, unless Ray Baggers brings some crazy bandit play at the center, charge straight in.
Oh, going for the 3 crown here. It seems like everything is abandoned on the left side. On the side of Ray Baggers means that Master was going to go all in and see what he's going to get. Good damage coming in already, 2485 on the King's Tower here.
See, that's the synergy. Exactly what I was thinking. Infernal Dragon goes
block
on the tower.
Next, he needs a Zap. He needs a Zap, and it's going to get down to 903. That is absolutely huge. He might just get 2 crown here.
Still has 210 on the clock. He has the poison as well. The Hogs are running straight in along with the Banshee Electro Wizard and the Zap used, but still taking some damage to the tower now.
That was a lot of elixir used. Gotta imagine just to defend against the Royal Hogs, and these bandits here, it's going to be just walking in. Of course, the miner trying to chip damage, but a little late for that, I think.
Yeah, still way too much HP on that tower, 2406, compared to that 785. So, a few more poisons will actually take him out, but he needs to use the poison defense. There's a Hog once again. Does he have the perfect defense? No.
Royal Hog in the pocket, and we'll see if this is the end of it. 490, that's the last of it, and we'll see it gets more, because it seems like the Infernal Dragon just charged in here.
Master Hong has got this. Only the miner doing the damage. Bats will take the miner out.
Doesn't get enough.
Time, but for the rotation with the Hog next time, that may just be it with the poison.
And in the pocket, this is desperation effort coming in. Good defense with that Spear Goblin just to make sure it soaks up all that damage. And once again, in the pocket is going to be these Royal Hogs, and 131 should be no problem there. And we're going to see HQ with Master Hong in the charge win another game now in this 1v1.
Master Hong, that's exactly why after the first tower, you get so much value from those Royal Hogs. Bandit, you do have to think about the straight charge into but Bandit is only one. You only have to worry about one word when there are 4 hogs running straight towards your tower. You can't stop that easily.
And every time the bandit comes in on that pocket, you know exactly what to do. Just put that Spirit Goblin just right there on the bottom, and it's going to soak up all damage. The towers will do all the work, and that's a 4v2 trade when you're going to be very happy with that outcome. If you're AHQ and Master Hong, very brilliantly done once again, showing a masterclass of exactly how to handle this very much a meta deck, unchanged whatsoever. It's that exact same deck that I used before this broadcast to beat my producer, and this is exactly what was happening here. And to win this game, he does everything right. Really textbook plays coming from Master Hong.
There are reasons why meta decks are meta decks. Because we have the meta decks because they're strong overall. They have the highest win. They have the highest win rate. They have the highest played. There are reasons behind all those. And with all the cards with the latest update, they are the strongest card combinations, and reason why they have the least amount of counters as well. So they're being safe and aggressive at the same time.
It really is. You have the perfect defense. You have the perfect counterattack once that arises. Whenever you have that Mega Knight available, you just go all in with that Royal Hogs and know you're extremely safe, because it's really tough for your opponents to defend both the Mega Knight and the Royal Hog. You have to have one or the other, but neither seem to be good choices.
Yep. Master Hong had a lot of answers given against Pekka. He had the Infernal Dragon as well, so we'll see what Ray Bagas has pocket in his hand to actually bring another deck. I think Master Hong can actually keep the same one.
Exactly.
That was a really strong game 1.
I mean, I use that deck and I get a bunch of wins off of that. I know that's a good deck, and Master Hong, he realizes it's a good thing, and he'll use it for that first game and get a nice victory. But we'll not be the same deck here, and we're going to go to game 2 with the Furnace coming from Master Hong.
Just one Fire Spirit every single time if just left alone. That's what happens all the time. But how does he deal with the Lava Hound? He had the Infernal Dragon last time, maybe not at this time.
Lava Loon just coming right from that bridge, and can they be stopped here? They maybe going to try to do its best. This balloon, it's still on a rampage, still moving on here. Gonna get that one drop. Can it get a second? It might just get a second.
It was locked onto the Lava Hound, so it may actually get not all the way, but then power's basically gone. Rascals to defend.
We'll see how this counter defense actually works out. You talk about the cannon card not connecting there. We can just predict that this is a gold deck coming in from Master Hong. That's what I'll have to suspect here, but otherwise, it seems like for that first series of trade, going all in with that Lava Loon Torch on that bridge. Sir Ray Bagas very well there.
He was willing to sacrifice a lot of his power HPs for that one gigantic push.
We know that with golden decks, always the theory is the game starts when you lose your first tower. That's when you know the game has begun. There we go, Master Hong finally starting us with that golem and the King's Tower.
Yeah, he didn't have the perfect cycle. That's why he was using the Night Witch actually before that. Now he does have the combo this time, pushing for the left instead.
Look at all those Fire Spirit just pushing that golem. That's a very strong Fire Spirit.
Just a little bit, yes.
Speeding that up just a little bit. The Fire Spirit's still moving on, and you see once again a Lava Loon push. Can he stop there?
Everything's locked onto the lava, so the balloon goes straight in. Fire Spirit will be doing some damage, but there's one.
One drop, and that's not good for now. It's going to survive that left tower for the time being. So, this golem pushing on the left side. It's going to get down to 449 with that poison a little bit more here. And Clef, it seems like it's getting a little bit closer, but still a tower down. Cannon card very defended very nicely with that tombstone.
Actually,
no,
it's not in the. It's a little away from that red carpet, so it's actually not in range.
Has to be straightforward, just right in front of that tower to get it in range. And you'll know when it gets in range because it starts shooting before it turns into the building.
It will start shooting very fast.
There he goes, and it doesn't have the slowest of delays. Once again, a Lava Loon coming in from the left side. Can they have any defense from there? And it doesn't seem like it. Nothing is coming about, just a lock to finish on the left tower. But nothing to really go with it. It seems like Master Hong already calling the game. Good game being played by both players, but it seems like Ray Bagas has brought the Lava Loon to success here. It's 1v1. Now it's going to be the tie game here.
When you're down 0-1 and you're willing to risk that much, just trusting in your starting hand because you have the Lava Hound, because you have the balloon, and actually worked out. Big risk. If I wouldn't be able to pull that out on the stage personally, but this is kind of the player that we have, Ray Bagas. He will take the risk and bring the game to himself. Now we're tied 1-1.
And it's a quick decision making coming in from Ray Bagas. Just knowing that he saw the Night Witch is going to be the only sort of defense that he had, that Master Hong had against the Lava Hound, but pushing that balloon in, he knew basically nothing was going to be coming onto the other side, and felt safe enough. That was quick decision making by Ray Baggers, and very much rewarded for that one. Now gets his team back to 1-1 here.
Comes down to the final one. If they tie here, they'll play one more, of course, but seems like Master Hong has a pretty nice idea. I think the risk that Ray Baggers took at the beginning of the game just brought the game to himself. It won't be the same on game number 3, but the fact that he can actually risk that kind of play, Master Hong has to be careful. Starting from the beginning, maybe he'll just switch back to the game 1 with the Royal Hog deck.
And I know that Master Hong does like his golems, but I was kind of impressed more for his cycling abilities, and we'll see if that comes about here, as so much success was brought to him in that game 1. So game 3 here, 1-1 all tied up between Master Hong and Ray Baggers. See what brings up Mortar deck being brought up by Ray Baggers. Of course, the Mega Knight might see exactly the same deck as you were talking about for that game 1.
The Rascal. I was expecting the Valkyrie Hog Rider one, but it may actually be a different one in this case. And that was a straight Goblin Gang right into the Mega Knight's face. There was a lot of elixirs lost there.
Still, it just means that everything is still in play. Those little minions going to be getting damaged more and more, and eventually gets more damage than the mortar itself.
Yeah. Still on a match point for HQ. If Master Hong wins this game, that's 2-0 set score. That's basically it. So Ray Baggers needs to turn this around. That was a big mistake, but not the biggest one.
Not going to opt to go for the Royal Hogs on that bridge quite yet for Master Hong.
So no tornado in this game. So
the little bats. Those little bats on the right side. Keep looking at that. Gets it down to 12-12, and those little bats do a lot of damage if left alone there. Royal Hogs for the very first time here, of course, the log to get away from all those damage coming in from the little rascal girls in the back.
Had a pretty nice defense as Ray Baggers. He knew that was coming, as it's the same deck that Master Hong played in game 1. So had the Rascals, of course, had a lot of waste because of that log. Really good log for Master Hong as well. But towards the counter, this is overall the better one compared to game 1.
And this was really about Ray Baggers using those bats to the maximum potential there and getting so much damage done on that earlier trade. And we'll see what it means, as we see them more on defense this time for Ray Baggers, just to get rid of those zappies coming in from Fall of Harm. See, there's once again a heavy defensive investment coming in from Ray Baggers just to get this Infernal Dragon out of there, and still doesn't get it away. Now, what we see from this, a lot of elixirs used a little bit earlier. We gotta remember, prediction log, just to get one Rascal Girl down. That other one still lives to do a lot of damage. And we'll see what this means here. The Miner is still there, dealing a lot of damage.
Late response from Ray Baggers was actually to because he was waiting, expecting that log to come down, because Master Hong had that in cycle. But there's some Mega Knight once again for the defense. He didn't do a lot of damage with the Miner though.
We're going to see the Royal Hog just getting rid of this corner here, and we're not going to see the zap quite yet. I don't know if he has the zap here, Master Hong, but otherwise, other with just 172, and going to get down with that poison was the last revealed card, so we'll definitely get that card down. Can he defend against the Miner? That's the most important thing here. 147.83, just going to give this up. He's going to go for 2 crowns here.
Yeah, that was very low chance of saving that as well, so might as well save up Elixir and go to the left side. Willing to take some damage, saving everything up for the next push.
We're seeing this Royal Hog just go all up on this mortar and try to destroy it before he gets any type of annoying damage done. It's still going to charge in here, and they're going to get a little bit of damage, and 20 down. You see the tower was already quite damaged before this overtime began here.
Talk about some value on that log, destroying all the goblins in just one shot, but he does have his own push. Ray Baggers is actually waiting to defend this one out.
The mortar in an awkward position is going to drag all the Royal Hogs in, but what are you really going to get off of that? That's going to be a maximum value poison coming in from Master Hong.
Not a bad log as well, but he's not. The problem is he's not doing damage compared to how much Master Hong is actually doing there.
Really is. Look at all of this coming into push, and you talk about these goblins trying to get some work done. And once again, Royal Hogs with the fireball. It's going to be counted up for time being, but can they get another counter push going here?
The Spear Goblin actually had 2 more shots. He does have the poison with the Hog, so Masterong very close. Only 2 minutes left on the clock. Rebag is still 2,000 to go.
Very healthy here for Masterong. It seems like the stick that won him the game in that game 1 might just do the same in this game 3 to finish out the series. Once again in the pocket. It's going to be coming in. You see it luring in with that mortar, but it's not going to last very long. Just a few more bites coming in for the piggies. Shoot to it, and that poison,
yes.
that is going to be doing it. One more log just to make sure he gets it cleared. And ultimate defense is all he needs, not even the log. That was necessary in the end. And AHQ very well with Masterong once again, finish out the series 2-1.
I think a lot had to be done, not just with the early Goblin game mistake. Log got so much value because when there are so many Raska goals get taken out, all the Goblins get taken out with just 1 log. Masterong got so much value out of those logs all the time. Just great used actually. Ray Baggers, he couldn't really split all the attacks so you can bait out the spells. It was not really his deck to play. That was a weird one which we actually got to see over time, but the poison value, of course, coming out. That's why we have poison coming out from all the regions so many times.
Game 1 and Game 3, it's been the same story from Ray Bags. He didn't have a true counter for those Royal Hogs other than that Fireball in that Game 3. Every time he used the Fireball in an elsewhere situation, he knew. Masterong knew he knew to send that Royal Hogs all on that one side, on the left side, which is what he preferred later in that game, but you gotta be prepared for all these meta decks that are coming out and have a prepared counter for it.
It's hard, Joel, you know? It's hard. Like, of course, the Wizard right now, it's actually a pretty good counter against that Hog. But if you have a Wizard, you create your own counter.
Yeah.
That's the real reason. Do I risk it even more by putting the Wizard, just assuming that Hog will come out again?
That's why you play that deck, the Meta Knight deck, and that Fireball in there. Everything is in order. Zappies, Bats, Goblin Gang, and of course not Goblin Gang with the Spear Goblins, obviously, but still, I'm getting ahead of myself. But I'm telling you, that's a very good deck. It does defense very well, and you can prepare your counter pushes just as effectively.
Yep. We'll have the highlight of this 1v1 once again. Actually, a really good one. Though we were kind of criticizing how Ray Baggers was not choosing the best deck to counter against this amazing deck we had with the Royal Hogs, with the Mega Knight. Really tough game, this one.
It really is. When you can send all those 4 Royal Hogs onto that one side, you know you've got the edge. And you know you got so much advantage.
Usually you would
forward.
split because you try to get the value out of it. Once you know when there's no exact counter against it, you just send everything into one lane.
As a recent aficionado of these Royal Hogs myself, I know that splitting the Royal Hogs is only because you know the defense coming from your opponents has it covered on that one side. If you can split it to both, you know that your opponent's going to have a hard time. Spend a lot of elixirs just to defend against these piggies that are coming in from the middle of the bridge.
Oh yeah, this was the second game where Ray Baggers just destroyed the first tower on the right side. Even though Ray Baggers actually had a really good fireballs actually to lay all the attack, like even the Infernal Dragon sometimes, still getting the value out of all those was really tough.
Even with that Fireball, we're going to see what happens here. But interview coming in, we'll see if our translator can help us with this interview as we go to the winners of HQ.
But HQ they do have the win here, as of course, again,
no audio.
To translate, we do need an interview, you know.
Yeah, so we got the confirmation that there's no audio.
I know exactly what's gonna happen. It feels pretty good winning again. Last time it was pretty hard, but coming up with a win feels good, man.
That was G-Clef coming from HQ with that interview, and we knew exactly how they were feeling after that one. Of course, you know, all the jokes aside, they did really, really well, just showing off in the dominance they showed in Week 1, coming back into Week 2 just to be all the same and looking like still, I believe HQ is still one of the stronger teams out there in terms of SEA competition.
Yeah, for sure. I think they can just continue, but we do have 2 more games, 2 more matches.
And we're going to come back after a short break, guys. We'll be back with the second series of SEA action, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back everyone to CRL Asia Season 2. We're still back with obviously HQ showing dominance once again after the Week 1 dominance and just repeats it again, this time against a new team of Chaos Theory. But Chaos Theory, they aren't done yet. They got 2 more matches to go, so hoping that this last defeat won't affect them too much, but we'll see how they do against this new team here.
That's hopefully, but let's talk about reality. Dropping your first match, that's pretty rough when you have 2 more matches to go straight. So it's going to be a tough day for them for sure, and they're up against Bren Esports. That's going to be a tough one, especially for their 2v2 because they're having a lot of synergy work not being completed last time.
And it is going to be Jai and Noim Sai, some 2 players that we didn't see all from last week, and we didn't see Noim Sai at all.
Yeah, Jai was playing 1v1, so first time playing 2v2 this season.
But these are the 2 best players that we have in this entire team, so hoping that this 2v2 comes into fruition. They're gonna ban out the Tornado with Benzoraido, JTD back out once again. They didn't prove too much successful last time around, but they are gonna ban out the Poison with the Rogue, not the Hog Riders, but the Royal Hogs being banned out to both sides for that 1v1 we're gonna get later in the game.
Those bad piggies has been destroying everything, especially 1v1 and also 2v2. The first day it was actually quite hilarious how many times we actually got to sow this Royal Hog, which we actually were expecting a lot on 1v1, but not as much in 2v2.
Yeah.
And we even see the bans coming out in 1v1, so maybe we'll see some patch notes coming on that card.
I mean, it's gonna need a little bit of balance. After that came up, a lot of people started buying the Royal Hogs and talk about that fortune chest every day that it came out with that Royal Hogs on that option right there. Everybody spent that 750 gem just to get a little more Royal Hogs because nobody really thought of upgrading when it first came out because it wasn't the strongest card to play. So with that 5 elixir, now it serves a little bit more proposition to get those cards and to level them up. Hopefully to level 11 by time, but boy, having a hard time to get in there.
I know everyone has been requesting that card. I'm running out. Well, we do have Bren Esports here, as we're having Jai for 1v1 both of the times last week, but he's switching up with Noim Sai, starting with that 2v2. We have something prepared. We can't quite hear you guys, what you're saying, but pretty nice to start off.
They have something to say, but we can't hear them yet until they win. So, you know, we're going to get an interview for them, hopefully, if they do beat out Chaos Theory, but I think this team doesn't want to lose any more games because they've lost enough so far already in today's games. And Chaos Theory back at it once again. Same lineup for that 2v2, 1v1 just as much. So Benzoraido and JTV, they're going to be here to play in. And you can see Careless might just be the one to play instead of Ray Bags after his performance a little bit on that earlier first series did not go so well.
But this is all decided before the actual broadcast happened, so I don't know if they actually expected this to happen perfectly, but they have the same 2v2 with JTB and Benzoraido here, so it's going to be a little bit problematic if they were not able to fix. They were focusing on lots of air units. Yeah. I wish they just go back to their golem because they're really actually good with the golem push.
And we'll see if that happens because 2v2 didn't look too convincing for this duo coming in from Chaos Theory. But against Bren Esports, they brought literally the 2 strongest players they have into this 2v2 lineup. So can they turn that into a dominance here? Because Bren Esports has lots of pride in terms of their 2v2 game, talking about how their preparation is far more excessive when compared to the other teams in Southeast Asia. So we'll see if that pride actually turns into a victory for Bren Esports against this relatively weaker team that we have in Chaos Theory.
Yep, they're going to have to continue with the momentum. Even though they dropped the first match, they will just have to go through. For Bren Esports, they're known to be the best 2v2. Of course, that didn't quite fall. Everything falling in together at the end of Season 1. They're trying to make it work once again. But with this 2v2, with these 2, Jai and Noim Sai, possibly the strongest 2v2 from Bren Esports, maybe they will have one of the easier ones. And they do come up with some surprises as well, like the Expo sometimes. So you never know what's going to happen in this one.
Oh, you know what's going to happen is going to be the Expo not being in play because it's so not in meta.
In 2v2.
I mean,
and also in 1v1.
Also 1v1. Everywhere.
Also in custom.
Expo doesn't work anymore, guys. Don't waste that 6 elixirs. I'm still using it and just winning and losing here about, but I feel, obviously notice that turn to trend going down here. But Benzoraido, JTV, they definitely won't be playing the Expo here because they're going to be ready for something. Air units as they brought in their first series. Didn't bring them a lot of success, but we'll see if it turns out to be a little bit more successful this time around.
And in the background, we do see the ban cards already. Tornado Poison, the most as standard as we get on that 2v2. So no tornado this time, no poison. Which means we're just going to be stuck with lots of heavy pushes. Maybe a little cycle as well. Poison being banned. I'd like to see lots of small units being dropped down.
And that just means that we'll get a lot more of these sneaky cannon cards in there. And it was banned out in that first series, but cannon card with the golem pushing it from the tank unit on the front. It does very well, G-Clip, and we're going to get started from the first series between two sides of Southeast Asia. Bren Esports against Chaos Theory. We'll see who takes the win here. Chaos Theory did suffer a little bit early in the series.
A little change, a big change from Chaos this time, having their own hogs. Going straight in. The cannon card will be stopped by the Valkyrie, the perfect one to defend all the time.
Very, very heavy push. You gotta imagine coming in. Meant to ride on JTV. We'll see what this means for the further pushes here, because it seems like the Valkyrie just kind of left below with that balloon.
Rage up balloon on the left will be a painful one.
Oh, it gets it! And the skeleton barrel is the absolute explosion, and this is absolute disaster. Oh no, coming in from Chaos Theory, and you know what this means when you lose your tower on the first push that your opponent pushes out.
Oh, that was some crazy start to begin with. Well, Chaos Theory, they got some value from those hogs, a little bit, but just scratches onto both sides. Look at that fireball. Arrows, and they're gone, basically. But they already have one down, trying to take the second one down. Even the King Tower cannot be underestimated when they have the balloon, the lava balloon.
Oh, and he misses a log onto that Dark Goblin. This is an absolute disaster. Look at the Dark Goblin getting freest of damages onto that Valkyrie. The freest damage I've ever seen from a one Dark Goblin. It's still going to connect onto the tower. Just imagine one log being missed causes that much of a punishment there.
Yeah, always 2 or more shots on that Dark Goblin left straight on to the tower. 4 shots at 100% HP. 78, that's basically gone. Going for that right side now, so I would say it's 1v1. Problem.
Oh, even the clone? But the clone has been banned out very nicely. And Giant Snowball for the first time today. We do get a G-Clip and very nicely defended once again. But no, it seems like a nice defense, but otherwise, what are we going to get? Of course, the left tower most likely going to be gone very soon here.
Just the Night Witch? That seems very weird, and that's the reason why we have the Lava Hound right after the Hog going straight into the towers now.
You can see the Dark Goblin.
Second Lava Hound, they're going straight in, they're doing a lot of damage this time.
Talking here, we'll see what this means, so still moving on in. Tried on JTV doing their best, trying to defend against this, but we know the balloon is still on its way with that clone, and oh my goodness, that's a lot of damage.
Drop.
Nothing is going to be able to stop that one, and a clone balloon with 10 billion lava puffs, and we know that means a GG. Oh, Chaos Theory, they're going to be hurting from that one, G-Cliff.
Well, they thought Hog was enough, but when you have that kind of speed with the rage from the Lumberjack, they weren't really doing too much damage with the Lumberjack. Once you have the rage, they rage pretty quickly. The balloon goes straight into the tower, the second one as well. The King Tower was damaged to start off.
And always, the big dilemma is that when you see the Lumberjack charging at the tower, you gotta have some melee ground unit defense. But when you already know that the balloon is falling right behind it with this Filligan skeleton barrel coming right in the back, just up to explode, you know there's nothing you can do. And really, you weren't prepared if you were the side of Chaos Theory, knowing that balloon push was not going to be coming in with that rage coming in from the Lumberjack.
Yeah, Bren Esports, they had really nice defense. Of course, it was hurting their towers a little bit, but they were chipping that into their own attack, which actually brought the tower down. So I'll take that any day, bringing the tower down, then chipping both towers. Well, Chaos Theory, they did have a very nice strategy this time with the Hog, but certainly not the same.
Well, Bren Esports weren't perfect, though. You gotta remember that missed log onto that Dark Goblin did very, very huge punishment onto the left tower, which eventually brought it down. So, you're not looking towards Bren Esports saying you did perfectly that game, but you definitely need to improve a little bit more if you want to be more convincing.
Seems like they have the same one. A Bren Esports bringing the same one with the balloon. This one for the cycle is not, might actually not be as powerful, but balloon still getting its way in. Fireball damage now.
One drop. Second drop. Oh, it's not going to get him. That zap. Just holding it up for that millisecond of defense, but we're still going to be looking towards this one flying machine that cannot get the tower quite yet. It's finally getting onto the tower, and it's going to get a lot of damage done. Look at that one. Hey, look at that one little flying machine that's still onto the tower. And you talk about being so heavily punished by that one unit coming for that 4 elixir. Does the job very, very well here, G-Cliff.
They're trying to cycle as well, try to have not the perfect push. Bren Esports, they wanted to have a second one, but it cost them a tower already. But that's a big one to be dropping 140 into the game. So even this Lava Hound will actually do nothing in this cage.
You're going to see it here, and you're going to see what this means. Those lava pups, they're busy, just trying to damage out. Little minions from afar, but otherwise, what else are we going to get? Of course, this little lumberjack is going to be able to take care of the cannon cart, but it's not a done game yet, G-Cliff, but it seems like Bren Esports, after they lost that first tower, having it difficult to recover back up.
Now they have a better cycle for them. They got all the cards down. They wanted to just throw that away. And they did have a pretty nice defense onto this one, but even the king is 38-30. That's not the best case scenario for them, but they've got a great setup this time. Bren Esports, they can still turn that around.
That skeleton barrel placed in an awkward position. I don't think they would have liked to place it in front, but we're going to see this here. We'll see what this means. The clone finally happening in. That fireball is ready to get everything out
on
there.
The ground, just the Valkyrie right now, but and the balloon does not get all the way to the tower.
This is incredibly a problematic situation if you are Bren Esports, knowing your main condition was that clone that you literally brought up for that same game of game 1 and not getting the same rewards this time around. Look at that cannon cart just sneaking in, going for that second tower here.
Lumberjack a little bit too late. Still the Lava Hound is on. Inferno Dragon's coming in as well. That's a tower down already. Going for that 3 crowns now.
It really is not necessary here, but we're going to see this lightning trying to be the best of use, and that one little Inferno Dragon is all you needed. With the lava pups, you know, defending and tanking him for days in that front of the area. You knew that the Inferno Dragon was going to get the job done. It didn't matter if it was a 3 crown or a 2 crown, but it seemed like a very convincing win. Maybe for the first time for this 2v2 duo that we have Benzorado and JTV coming from Chaos Theory.
It was a pretty good offensive move for them, and they actually had a really nice defense this time. Having a lot of that focus, Fireball did cost them a little bit sometimes, but when they had their push, the gigantic push with the lava and the miner, flying machine was actually placed perfectly, just hidden. If you don't really pay attention perfectly, you don't even know that damage is coming in. But they made that all work because they got so much more value when they were defending there.
And it seems like Chaos 3 plays very well when they're ahead, but when they're behind, as they were in the past 3 games, definitely did not work to their potential. But when you talk about that one flying machine, really living home the story of what it wanted to do behind that Lava Hound, and with a little bit of HP, but it doesn't matter, just as effective. So we're going to go to game 3, guys, after it's all even and tied up. See the Goblin Barrel for the first time here in the 2v2.
My dream. Without the tornado, all the time, bring it on. They have the princess, they have lots of goblins. We're going to see that cycle.
See the Goblin.
4 straight shots? I don't know if I want to take this more.
5th one. Get it, but
that was a lot of damage by one princess.
What else we're going to get here? Of course, the Valkyrie coming on the right side. The more important one, moving towards that Lava Hound. On the left side, Gordon Minion coming in.
Yeah, you do want to spread everything out just because one log can take everything into the ground. So Bren Esports actually working that in. They take too much damage.
The Goblin Gang doing very well here. And of course, no log. Everything away. Gonna invest a lot of elixirs here just for that defense.
Yeah, double that cannon. One in the ground, one in the air.
And good Valkyrie. Actually fantastic coming in. And cannon cart, as long as it doesn't get to your tower, that is already a mission successful on that defense. Bren Esports.
Look at that tower damage, 1651, but most of that damage actually came from the first princess. Not much from the barrel actually itself.
Log bait doing so well so far. It's gonna force out a miner. Of course, that naked just build behind your own playground and That's the problem if you are Chaos Theory, knowing that the only defense you have is a miner being summoned defensively. But of course, we're gonna see this Inferno Dragon, see what it can get done here. Oh, very nice in terms of rocketing abilities, and we're only see these lava pups do a lot of damage, but can he get a little more? This Valkyrie just tanking it for 4 days, and okay, with the cannon card.
Cannon card in range.
And the flying machine. Okay, but this is the most important part about the cannon card. It's still doing a lot of damage at 393. There's a lot of punishment from that one.
Perfect log. You're reading this like all they have to do is hold the log, just not use it. If they can't have the best offense, just hold
fireball.
it. Because you need the defense first.
You see this Prince is once again very aggressive here and knows not going to get too much damage on, but what's the most important is that after that one little story from that cannon card, it has been a disaster for Bren Esports, and no one is defending that.
And they're desperate for damage, just throwing down the log, predicting a little bit, but they need to have the chip damage onto the tower, only 20 seconds. Because that bottom left basically gone with 116, that's one fireball.
From that game 2 all the way to this game 3, the only thing that has really defeated Bren Esports was that cheeky little one unit that told the full story. Talk about a cannon card in game 3, it was the flying machine in that game 2, and this is what they're really faced with. Nothing for them to do. Bren Esports, they're gonna lose here.
They drop it. Chaos Theory comes back big time in the series after dropping their first match, winning this 2v2, which many of us expected actually Bren Esports to take this one as a 2v2 favorite, but after switching decks, look how good they can actually be here.
And really is unfortunate to see Bren Esports doing so well, just managing their macro plays, just managing their units very, very well for the earlier parts of the game. Talk about game 2 and game 3, it was the game for Bren Esports to win, but you know, when you come into that late game and lose your focus on not being able to defend the critical units, like the flying machine from game 2, like the cannon card from game 3, if you just get that cheeky little damage coming in from those individual units, free to do, and with the tanking in front, you know you're going to lose the tower immediately, and that's that one mistake that ruins the entire game for Bren Esports. It's disappointing to see that.
Yeah, but when you see the cycle deck, you really have to be synergized with your teammates. I think that's what's the most important thing. You're not just playing solo. It is not the same because there is an extra log all the time, most likely from the opponent. If you're just looking for no log, that's a little painful. But they weren't really getting too much value. A log was always available. They're not really getting the bait that they wanted to have.
And really, just that clone working so well the first time around, but you know it hasn't proved as successful in the second rendition. But you know it worked well in game 1, and we thought it might work again in game 2 and game 3, but. You know, you can't go with the same decks every single time after you've been figured out. And boy, they've been figured out really well here at Bren Esports. Once again, seems like they're kind of stuck on the old habits here and not being able to really be creative at times. Just go for that right defense at the right situation.
Language was definitely one of them, and also cannon card sneaking in. And that, I think that made a lot of difference. Chaos Theory just sneaking in that cannon card. Of course, Bren Esports did have Valkyries to defend it, but they didn't have that all the time.
And right
they
there,
needed it.
Right there. That's all you needed. It's that cannon card in the front. Even if it gets destroyed from the shield, it's still not going to change its targeting. And oh man, and it seems like everything done right for Bren Esports for the first parts of those games, even games 2 and games 3. They looked so good, and they looked like they were going to take it, but you know, one little mistake cost it all in terms of this current meta, doing so much work towards that flying machine, and also with other things.
If that rocket actually hit the ground 0.1 second after, it was going to get the Mega Minion as well, because it dropped right after the rocket exploded. So a little bit unfortunate on that, because if that happened, they could have defended the push with the flying machine and the cannon card coming in a lot easier, taking less damage, of course.
Well, you know, end of that story for now. We're gonna go into that 1v1 Careless coming in from Chaos Theory for the first time. Kind of subbing in for Ray Baggers after Ray Baggers could not pick up a victory against Master Hong from HQ. So he's going to be up against Manong GP. It's the first time for this guy to see him play against a professional team here. We'll see how he does, because we don't know what to expect from him yet.
Yes, this is actually a very hype match. This is newcomers, the rookies for each team. We don't exactly know what's happening, no data on them either. So are they going to go super meta, or are they going to play something crazy? Like some Sparky ones that we did see from Season 1, or some off-meta decks.
definitely will not get the ultimate meta here, as Royal Hogs have been banned now from both sides. So what this means for, of course, less fireballs, less Valkyries needed, but what are we gonna get from these two players here? Really nothing to expect because we don't know anything about them, man.
Just if you just want to go standard poison miner, poison barrel, or tornado is also available, so you do want to be careful where you place them. But you want to go all the way with the beatdown, can still happen with the P.E.K.K.A and the Hog. Actually, not just these small ones, but the big main one with the original Hog Rider is actually really strong in the meta as well.
Well, the Hog Rider in the latter plays do very well when you're leveling that up all the way to level 11. But now we're still looking at this Grand Challenge format where the tournament standard puts us at level 9.
Okay, with the battle ram.
Tier 3 Musketeer, giant deck we've seen a little bit before. Of course, with the fly machine, that's definitely gonna be out of the question.
Joel, would there be a day where we actually see the Barbarian Barrel?
No. Hey, look at this. Giant summon right at the bridge.
P.E.K.K.A is a very, like one of the best counter against the Giant.
Yeah, yeah. Against Giant.
Manong's got it right now.
Against Giant and also against Golden. It does very well. And Mini P.E.K.K.A, great counter against the actual P.E.K.K.A. You see he can destroy it when it's pretty low on health then. Still surviving here to make the charge.
What does that mean? The mini one beats the bigger one?
Well, I mean, it beats out an injured adult P.E.K.K.A. So
Yes.
it's a little bit of a different story, G-Clef. We don't want to complete that one.
Of course, but the main problem, he has to keep that charge away from the tower every single time. So he needs that log, he needs that zap, most likely.
It's actually a really good log coming in with that miner just for defense and just limiting that battle ram to make sure it doesn't get the charge on. That's going to limit it to the minimum damage. And now going to switch sides here, Careless, and see what he can get. Of course, the P.E.K.K.A immediate, obvious answer from Ninja P onto the left side now.
The mini P.E.K.K.A is actually not a super common card. So against the small units, with a lot of units, it will just be destroyed.
Zappy is coming in, and Giant is going to have a slower time to make its charge into it, and Battleram coming out to the right side once again.
Let's see the damage trade, minor damage as
The
well.
log
Not the charge.
mistimed. Yeah, the log was very much mistimed on that one, and it's going to take the critical damage. And with the Zappy just still helping out here. And Fly Machine do a little bit of damage on the left side, but it's all about that right side from Manong GP. See if he can get the stun.
Manong GP is so close. One more charge from the battle ram, plus some more damage, and he does have the zap and the fireball as well. So as long as you can get that giant push defended with the P.E.K.K.A, he's all good.
And it's going to be very easy to do so. I mean, getting the Giant down with the P.E.K.K.A is going to be no problem at all.
With the help of Zappies, it could be easier of the time.
And once again, the mini P.E.K.K.A on the right side this time, so definitely the P.E.K.K.A will not be able to be defended there. And 364, the Giant is going to be there for defense, and you know that is a bad sign if you are Careless. And are we going to see finally the end? Obviously, talking about Ronald GP for Bren Esports, just trying to get the win a little bit earlier, but do it once again here in this 1v1. Should be it.
Attack onto the left side, just as a divert, so that he doesn't get the full poison value. But
That's it, Fly Machine.
he's got it. Just gets damage from Flying Machine, one swing from the P.E.K.K.A as well.
And once again, we see a first win. Going towards Manong GP, and oh man, Bren Esports starting off with a win like they did in 2v2, but can they hold on? Can they restrain themselves from throwing the games like we saw from the 2v2? And 1v1, looking pretty good for this player, Manong GP here.
It was his first one. Seemed really confident, not having stage fright at all. He was really confident. He actually had a very good counter in this game. He had the perfect answer. The P.E.K.K.A against the Giant. I mean, the moment that's against you, Carlos. You do have the mini P.E.K.K.A, but it's not as powerful when there's a Zappy behind that P.E.K.K.A as well. So he was very countered on that deck.
It was really unfortunate for Carlos there. I don't think his skills were perfectly exemplified on that game one, but maybe with a better matchup we'll get to see that, because it seems like these two players, without the Royal Hogs, lots of diversity is in play here, and we thought that with that Giant coming in, we thought it might be the push of the game that was needed for Careless, but when you're encountered just like that with a P.E.K.K.A, very, very tough. And starting off game 2 now, G-Clef, see what we can expect. And once again, let's see this Spear Goblin is this. Once again, the Mega Knight deck. Of course, we're not going to get the Royal Hogs here.
Just the minor to cycle, and you do want to have the bats to connect. Does actually connect a few shots, so that's a lot of damage. There's a Hog Rider.
And that one bat, the one bat always tells the full story here. See the Goblin Gang doing a pretty good job of stopping all the way through, but we're still going to see a very much a win here for Manong GP once again.
Even the spears make some damage as well, so brings it down to 3 digits. First 40 seconds of the game. Like, you have the entire game controlled right now in this world.
Hey, if you are looking at that log that destroyed the Goblin Gang, go for the Spear Goblins right away. Just getting a lot of chip damage done. And speaking of chip damage, the Miner comes in once again for the rescue.
With that Mega Minion, because Carolus, he's waiting for that perfect time to drop that Hog Rider.
For it, but we're gonna see more. Of course, the mortar coming into play. And oops, being put out. You know what that means? This is a bad story that came all together, and
It has the Valkyries to wipe out everything, so this Mega Minion along with the tower, this may actually be powered down.
Minion left alone fresh and gets an entire tower down. That is a face of tilt if I've ever seen one from Manong GP.
That was a little bit of a late reaction, I would say, on that mortal. Of the placement, it could be 1 pixel down as well. But he still got it. With the miner, maybe with the 1 minute, he can just chip it down and bring it to 1v1. He's already starting on the right side.
Already gonna be dragged in by the mortar. He's gonna get nothing out of it just, in terms of defense. Get with the one swing though. That's very important here, G.
You just want to have that down just as a defensive tool against the Hog Rider. At least all the time, you just want to hold that perfectly. But you do have to bring that left one down if you want to keep this one going.
Handy though.
5-66.
Still gonna be the miner. Very much untroubled by the Valkyrie for now. 374 left. See already with the mortar being placed to the right side just for defensive effort. Not really to go for any attacks here. Miner. Go for it.
So eventually he does have the fireball, so he will bring it down. But the problem, this one is the real problem with the Hog Rider coming straight in.
Fireball, very maximum value right there, just to get things down. And Royal Hog, talking about Royal Hog being missing out. The Hog Rider's taking all the show here and gonna get 2 swings there. You see what this means? The Tombstone being targeted out by the mortar. There's the miner who will be able to bring things down. 1, okay. Just make sure he uses the zap. Make sure he doesn't lose here, but what he's gonna do here? Nothing coming in. 1 more swing. Will not come through.
But he has got it. Log plus fireball. Another Hog Rider will just finish the game. Manong GP putting everything on down this one. He has to get the maximum push right here, right now.
And just cycling through. Of course, the mortar is going to be taking a lot of time to get these damage in. And you see even the Rascals in the pocket. This desperation effort coming all together for Manong GP. And we know what this means. Doesn't even need the fireball, but he's going to get the flying machine locked into it. That's going to be a win for Chaos Theory once again. We're kind of seeing the deja vu situation once again. G-Clef 2v2. Bren Esports started off with a win. And we're seeing that once again 1v1 starting off with a win, but it's going to lose another one.
Well, we'll have it with the bans onto the Royal Hogs. Just see how the meta is just back for, just rewind the meta for a month. I think that's exactly what we see here. I was expecting a Hog Rider here. It's one of the games at least. Even though Tornado is available, a sad thing that he didn't have it for this matchup. If you have it, you just have that down. I mean, it's a perfect counter. You can activate the King Tower as well, but it was not the case.
We're going to see what that means though, you know, not having that Tornado, not being able to counter that Hog Rider efficiently enough. And oh man, I mean, we thought that Manong GP was doing the right thing. We said the same thing about the 2v2 duo. They were doing the right thing in the early game, but make one little mistake and your tower will be carved down. And oh man, what are we going to get for Chaos Theory? Once again, a win to finish out the series 2-0. That will be very, very unfair in terms of representation for Bren Esports, which they did really well for most of that game, but losing the critical mistakes does not put them down in a 2-0 sweep.
Yeah, Carlos. He defends first with that Mega Mini and then makes it into a bigger push. And onto the other side as well, just using the perfect elixir on the second game. Comes down to the decks. What did they actually choose? Game 1, they had the Giant and the big counter against the P.E.K.K.A. Game 2, lots of small cycles.
We'll see what we can get from this game, G-Cliff.
Yes, and usually when it comes down to Game 3, we just wait for the double elixir mark and then a gold.
We haven't seen that in a long time, actually, because it's been all about quick cycle decks in the recent meta, but should you say just banning out the Royal Hogs just really rewinds the meta back into 1 month ago.
The Royal Ghost. Let's see if he brings that. Well, with the Zappy, maybe this will be another bridge spam deck that Manong used before.
You're gonna see the cannon card once again, just to defend down and hopefully reach the opponent tower in time. You see the cannon card, it's gonna be rival down by the Infernal Dragon. Can the Infernal Dragon be stopped? It's gonna be another question to be asking here, because the Valkyrie is very nice, and that tornado finally being used. The Valkyrie just perfectly placed it. Nothing for them to do.
Very good defense by Carlos there, with the Valkyrie getting that synergy. Though he's getting few shots connecting to the tower. 3 shots. Oh.
All the more we thought that Carlos had the good defense there, but to use a little bit more elixir in terms of training out. We're going to see Manong GP finally go out. Of course, with less elixir, just summon that Infernal Dragon to get rid of that Mega Minion. See what happens from Carlos here.
I'm already kind of scared if that Battle Ram plus the Lumberjack happens again when he does not have the perfect tornado in his cycle.
A very awkward cycle, having to summon that cannon card for the answer of the defense. Infernal Dragon, what to do here?
Oh, we'll see an answer very soon. Lumberjack once again, the Rage will not connect with anything.
That log sent a little bit early, only going to get 1 of the 2 Zappies in. To make sure he doesn't want to leak any elixir down in. We're going to see a very heavy push on the right side, G-Cliff.
That's a tornado. No Valkyrie this time.
See the zap and the fireball combination to get all these units down. The cannon card is still there to do some defense here. Ice Wizard is trying to do all it can to stall some time. And look at this Royal Hog being dragged in. And he get targeted by 2 princes, but finally a graveyard being shown here. Of course, the Lumberjack does very well on defense for all these skeletons coming out of the ground.
Oh yes, Lumberjack against the Graveyard is actually really good because his attack speed is so fast. He can bring down every single skeleton so quickly.
He's getting a heavy push on the right side. Does get the tornado once again to go for all of this. He's waiting for it. He's going to get it down.
Another tornado, but the main damage. Okay, has to use the Valkyrie to stop that. Gets the charge onto the right side, so Carlos having a little bit of a tough time defending both towers at the same time.
And now we're going to see what this actually translates into. Manong GP already has the lead onto both towers, actually. So this poison coming out is not going to be the most effective, but can he defend against this right side that is going to be still coming in? Lumberjack doing pretty well. He's still rushing in here, and the Barbarians just going to be rushing in. That's just one little cannon. Of course, no damage being done on the right side quite yet.
No real damage, only 1 Zappy. And Manong does have to keep his own, those skeletons, connecting to the little late of a Lumberjack here.
They have the elixirs for G-Cliff, and finally does summon it out. It's going to see the skeletons do a lot of damage all the way down to 698.
With the Lumberjack on the left side, he can't really have the same one with the Battle Ram onto the right. He's just going to push for it this time.
Yeah, look at this Battle Ram. It's going to be knocked back with the log. Mega Minion trying to do all the damage, and a heavy push coming onto the left side. Might need a tornado once again.
Tornado along with the Ice Wizard.
Very hopeful, but he's trying to save elixir, as you can see. And Lumberjack again trying to just charge into the tower, and nothing coming from it. Infernal Dragon once again doing very well to just melt down this cannon to stop it from reaching the tower here.
Without the Rage perfectly being placed against the Battle Ram, that was a close one again.
Just make sure that Ice Wizard slows down all these units coming away. And you can see the cannon car on defense once again here. And see the Royal Ghost go down. This is a very close one, G-Cliff. We're not seeing real type of threat. This might be the one here.
He doesn't have the graveyard. He wants to put that down to a little more damage, and the main damage will be poison directly doing damage. He does have a minute of overtime left.
Yeah, look at this now. The Valkyrie is going to be able to push the Batarang back once again.
Charge, but the charge is pushing, coming from the left with the Lumberjack actually pushing everything. There's a tornado.
Good tornado. But can he stop all the units here? The Infernal Dragon. There's nothing for him to
He's
stop
low on
it.
elixir. He doesn't have anything else to defend.
Oh, he didn't even zap that correctly. And oh my goodness. And Mainland GP will get the win after that Infernal Dragon was able to reach the tower. Oh man, speaking of units reaching the tower, we didn't think it was going to be the Infernal Dragon. And Mainland GP is going to collect the victory here at Game 3, which means that a series win for the very first time for Bren Esports on today's games. And we're going to see them go over to set 3.
Set 3, King of the Hill. I was very excited for this. Which player win, which order? Because we did have that 1v1 already. And depending on the order and how they bring out the counter deck, it may actually determine the series. It's really important because you don't know who you're going against. But selecting that order, up to your manager, up to your leader, the captain, very important here.
And we're going to see what this means. First King of the Hills that we're going to get for Southeast Asia after all of last week's action ended in 2 sets. So going to set 3 for the first time, G-Clan. We'll see what these two teams are made of. Really a lot of fatigue, obviously coming in from playing a lot of games so far already, but all 4 players being able to participate in this best of whoever it can be. And King of the Hill should be very exciting.
Yeah, if you're new to this rule, basically, if I had to compare it to baseball, 3 strikes, your team loses, you're gone. So just 1 game each. If you tie, you play 1 more. Very simple. After you play 1 game, if you lose, you go down. If you win, you play 1 more. That's basically it. We're going to have the highlight for 1v1. And they need to get this time right now and think about that 3rd set coming in soon.
And it's going to be another 1v1, obviously, and we'll see what this all means. Of course, with Mainland GP, I think it's good bouts in that game 1 and game 3 of his 1v1, but it has to be said that Bren Esports does make some critical mistakes at times. That is really one constant. They always seem like the better team, but whenever you can't win the critical ones, that's when you really kind of have a scratch in their heads. That's really, are they better? But they can really make themselves count in this King of the Hill set 3 coming out.
And because Manong was changing things up all the time, Carlos was having such a difficult time dealing with everything. Yet, he was using lots of cannon cards as a defensive move, which was good. Worked out many of the time, but once you are losing elixirs all the time, you can't just stop pushes happening all the time.
And when you have to ult for that cannon card every single time for defense, you really can't sneak that in for offense when you really, truly need that cannon card to put a lot of damage onto your opponent. But never really happened. And Careless does find himself suffering through that game 3 after he showed a pretty good showing in that game 2. But you know, game 3, it could have been better for side of KS3. Now they're back to set 3, back at it once again, even to win out this game.
1v1 towards, let's say, slightly favors Bren Esports in terms of experience and the history that we had from Season 1. But we do have the new players, so we actually have mix and match with the old and the new boys. So we don't really know exactly what's going to happen. Carolus, he was excellent as well. But Manong GP, he had some crazy moves as well. He had some pretty old deck, like the P.E.K.K.A ones coming around. But the Zappy use, Zappies, if you can delay that as well, do some chip damage to the tower as well, I think that's what's going to make the difference, like the games we saw just now.
And it's been about that game 1, game 2, game 3. It doesn't matter. Even if from the 2v2, it's all been about who has the better defense and who can really transfer that into a better counter offense. And that's been the story so far. It's been the current meta where it's very fast-paced and everything could happen in a matter of seconds. If you make that one critical mistake, that one little unit, talk about Flying Machine, talk about that Royal Hog, talk about cannon card just from the back end, it can do so much damage. So you have to be very aware defensively in order to find success.
We'll see. Seems like Jai is going out there for sure. That's what we saw for a moment. Thinking about the roster, thinking about the counters, because they can only ban 1 single card for the set. So they have to choose carefully that, make sure it works for everyone. That has to be agreed with for all the players, first of all. And then choose the ban card, and then select your own deck. It's going to be the next 3 minutes that we'll have after we see the ban card coming out soon.
And remember that Chaos 3, they're still going through this phase of not collecting a single series win. So they're really hoping that this one is the one that can really pick up that first W of this season. But against Bren Esports, it's not the easiest showing. After they won that first set in that 2v2, they couldn't capitalize that with another 1v1 victory. This is the reason why they're here in the set 3. Looking like they really want to pick up that first W.
They would love to have the second one because they have one more match straight coming straight up for them. The third match. So picking up a win here would be great, but with that 1v1 matchup, I wonder what it's going to be like. But in the King of the Hill format, anything could actually happen. Just bring one down. Sometimes it's basically like rock, paper, scissors. If you're up against 5 people in a row, sometimes you just get lucky, you win. Of course, that's talking about the same different skill level. You have to put the details in there, but sometimes that does happen. So we'll see what happens in this King of the Hills.
This is the first time we might actually get to see a true carry in Clash Royale, because you don't really get to see that all too much. Even in 2v2, it's all about cooperation, doing pretty well. 1v1, obviously you have to do your part to get the set win, but you know, if you can carry your team to defeating every opponent that your enemy brings to you, it's going to be so good for them. And we're going to get the team roster for both teams. This is what we're going to get.
Oh, the 2 new players from both teams. I love this matchup going against each other. Trainer Ken versus Benzo Rido, Mainland GP against Carlos, and the old boys from each team, Jai versus JTV. What an exciting King of the Hill we have today.
And it seems like knowing Sai from Bren Esports along with Ray back is not feeling confident enough to be on that starting roster.
Maybe? That's a little weird to me, to be honest.
But they didn't have the best of performances today. You got to talk about today's current condition of how they did. Ray Beggars did pick up a game against Master Hong earlier in that AHQ series, but still wasn't good enough to collect the win. And means that we're going to see the 2 new rookies coming from both teams. Bren Esports bringing out Trainer Ken and Mainland GP. We're going to see Chaos 3 bring out Ben Zerido, who's used to playing that 2v2 alongside JTV. And he'll put Careless to see what he can do.
And we do have the ban cards. The same from the previous 1v1. Royal Hogs banned from both sides. We could see that coming all the time until we have the next patch. We could see this coming for the next weeks before we have the next patch actually hit us. That's only if we have changes onto that Royal Hog as well.
And this is what we're going to get. We're going to start off with Trainer Ken, hoping he's the one to carry his team to the victory. And that will be the second one they pick up in this season. It'll be really bad for Chaos 3 if they don't win this one and they go down with 2 straight losses of a series and heading into the third one right away, knowing if they lost 2 in a row, the third one won't be too much of a confidence boost.
Well, even knowing that, that surely does not sound well, but at least they brought it to third set. I don't know if that helps them at all, but if they want to put this much energy, they have to bring it out. Of course, they did not play last weekend, so they did get that extra rest, extra study without actually being on stage. But I was wondering about this matchup because when you usually think about the final ones, you usually bring out the experienced players on that stage. Sometimes you get really nervous, and then again, that's the reason why we have the experienced players on the final one.
And they have to worry about fatigue. They have to worry about exhaustion
Yes.
and how they can handle with the condition management. And it's been about Chaos 3 already playing a single series and now playing to a full second series. And Ken can't bring out the Mega Knight without the Royal Hall. It's interesting.
And I don't think Ken got that damage in onto the miner to begin with, but still not a big problem to have here. A big push with the furnace as well, so it's great defense, getting the minions as well.
And we're not going to see a subpar offense coming in from Trainer Ken to get rid of that Dark Goblin.
Dark Goblin walks so fast, it goes past everything. That's what happens all the time.
Yeah, it's really difficult to make sure it crosses the bridge.
You think it's behind another unit, but it actually goes fast. It gets the first hit from the Princess all the time.
And it always goes to the tower just in time. It seems like it had to be maybe just before it gets to the bridge. That's the one.
Still very, very effective all the time. We do have the same cycle.
The same cycling for both players, and we're talking about Miner into the Mega Knight, then into the Valkyrie, and we're probably going to see another Furnace with the Dark Goblin. Obviously, very expected there. Poison, very nice value there. What he's going to get from here?
Yes, the Goblin does damage to the tower as well as the Valkyrie. So, let's work out in his favor just a little bit.
He's going to send out the log from Ben Zerido just to get this damage in the Furnace. Like he always do mention, one Fire Spirit, will die away, but the second one coming from the back will always do some damage if left alone.
It's actually incredible. Fire Spirits are invincible even when they're getting damage while they're jumping, so they're actually really, really strong. Got a gigantic push.
Just need a poison here. That's all he needs there, but you can see a poison on the other end. Seems like just to get rid of those minions from the back, and look at the Lava Hound just having a tough time.
So he does have the Fire Spirit even when the Lava Pups actually breaks into the other side, so that's why he already used the poison.
Very awkward poison from Trainer Ken. Just a neck knockout. The Dark Goblin, otherwise, not much other value comes from this one. And the Miner, what are we going to get from here? The Bat not taken care of, and the minions from the back do a little bit of damage and still gonna survive barely, but trying to see, you know, what we're gonna get from all of this, and let's see what we can get from all these players that are coming through. Just a lot of small units trying to get as much chip damage as they can.
You have the poison hitting the tombstone as well. Miner getting squashed by that Mega Knight. That's what he has. He has that as a defensive tool as well. That's why he's actually holding so much elixir all the time.
Let's see what this gets, and still gonna be jumping around to see what damage he can get. The minions helping out to destroy out the Valkyrie, and the charge does go in. Over towards the Dark Goblin. Of course, the tombstone not successful there and reaching out.
Because Ken does know that it's really close. A few more poison, and the overtime will just keep a game over. He needs to defend it perfectly all the time. Furnace is actually doing a lot of work for Benzo Riddle as he's getting all the ones down. It's a little early of a poison, but you do the damage now.
Oh, this is a very, very good one, actually. The Lava Pups doing a lot of damage left alone because all the Tower Princess it's just putting out there is going to be going to the Mega Knight. It becomes a 579, and you talk about a few poisons away for both players, really. And finish off this game. We'll see what happens here. Okay, we're going to see the Mega Knight just to make sure that Dark Goblin doesn't connect onto the tower.
I think it was connecting to Skeletons anyhow, but just in case.
Yeah. Poison away. Just to destroy. Can he get the charge out? Can he get the... Oh, that was very, very close.
Mega Knight, of course, not invincible. Gets the tombstone down perfectly, nicely done. But Miner still takes few shots right after. Great log there. 345,
363. Very, very close between both sides, and the Skeleton just being cycling away. See the Valkyrie here.
One poison plus some more extra damage. Miner, this is going to be it.
You can see here the poison already being put down. Oh, that Valkyrie, if that got that one swing, that would end the game. 72, 45. This year, the log is going to be good enough, and he didn't have to cycle quick enough for Trainer Ken. It's going to be the first game coming towards Benzo Riddle and for Chaos 3 in this King of the Hills.
That's it. One game, you lose. You're knocked out. Go back to your seat. Next player's up. Benzo Riddle. That was close game. I was not really expecting that to happen, but once you have this much pressure, you just want to go back to your safety zone and just comfort cards with the poison. I think this is what we're likely to see with the next coming up games as well.
And just making sure he can defend against the Mega Knight was his only assignment, Benzo Riddle. But he tried to get that done, and he did it very well. And we're going to see what that means towards Trainer Ken. He couldn't win out.
Yeah, Ken shouldn't be feeling too bad. That was a really, really close game, up to just one spell away, basically.
And NongGP, he'll be the next one up, and see what this all means. He's just waiting, very much waiting for his next opponent to come out, and Benzo Riddle can show composure once again.
New players showing some great Clash Royale here, as this is not the style we would usually see, but I think it's the pressure of the King of the Hill, because if you just get this one set, you win the entire match. That's why they want to go for that poison with Poison Miner, which one we don't really see too many, oftentimes from Korea and Japan all the time, but not from Southeast Asia at all.
And the poison works out very well because you know you're not going to have the Royal Hogs in play and don't really need a fireball. And poison does serve multiple purposes, and we're going to see what this all occurs to. Benzo Riddle picking up the first one, feeling pretty good. Gives a thumbs up, and NongGP is going to reply with a thumb of his own. And let's see what all this means. Of course, it's starting off with Zappies from NongGP. We're going to start off with the Tombstone for Benzo Riddle.
Zappies. Oh, Flying Machine a little different. I was expecting the Battle Ram once again. Flying Machine for both sides of this game.
Very nice zap. Just put this down, and I'm going to see all this damage that will come through. Mega Minion survives, but will down to that one arrow shot. Should we expect the battle ramp that did come forward? Royal Ghost charging in there, just trying to get a little single wipe, but
Barbarian actually stopped.
yeah.
Blocked that Royal Ghost from doing damage to Valkyrie for such a long time.
Royal Ghost will say, get out of here, but Barbarians.
He's only a ghost, he can't do it. He can only do too much.
Barbarians, they couldn't even hear him, so it's unfortunate. It's a ghost.
They're
all in all.
barbaric and one's a ghost, so what do we expect? There's a Hog Rider, but okay, he does not have a Tornado, already having 2 spells here.
Okay, we're gonna see this one swing, second swing, the third swing does not come through, and Flying Machine is charging on. He stopped a little bit early here, a little bit unfortunate of that Mega Minion timing there. Could have attracted that Princess Tower to attack with it.
So Manong, who are we thinking? He has to hold, he can't just throw down the Zappies like the one he did last time. He has to hold that against the Hog Rider because it will do direct damage, but which is a good counter for him now.
We're gonna see what this all equates to. We only have seen a log coming from Ben's Rhino in terms of spell. That last unrevealed card could be that second spell. We'll see what that is in a little bit of a second here. Zappies being put out there.
Oh, not hitting it Page perfectly, and that's a great fireball.
That was the last spell card that we were waiting for this entire
And he was also expecting that Hog Rider as well.
It's a little bit unfortunate. Let's see what this all means. And the Valkyrie coming in for that defense and Royal Ghost just trying to do a little bit of damage at a time, but Hog Rider once again coming onto the left side. That's gonna be there just to wipe it away. One more swing all to do it. And it's a lot of it looks to shoot. You gotta imagine to get that P.E.K.K.A down.
He has to bring down. He's going for that double attack once again with the battle ramp. Flying Machine will definitely help on this one.
Tombstone stopping the Barbarians for now, but
Only one. The other one's actually doing straight damage to the tower.
great defense with that Mega Man just to stop that Flying Machine from doing any type of damage, but still, that Royal Ghost, pretty annoying for what it can accomplish. Zappies there, just trying to stop it here, but it's going to be one swing. One swing, and the second swing is not going to come through.
Still, that's a lot of damage put down. Of course, he's having a top right one, but missing that fireball was a huge big playmaking difference.
10-13 on the left side. You're going to send out the P.E.K.K.A just to make sure you can defend him. Perfectly timed there, just so that the Flying Machine does fly to the Princess Tower. Just prepping for this push on the right side. Once again with the Battle Ram with the Royal Ghost in the back.
Ben's a Rhino. How can he defend this one? He does have the log. Not getting the Barbarian damage as well, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but stopping the P.E.K.K.A is the one that he really needs right now.
See the fireball being into good plays there. Very nice defense coming from Ben's Rhino. And this Hog Rider push, can it be stopped? You can see the Royal Ghost trying to get a few whacks here. And one whack does come through from that Hog Rider. 749 on the left here.
Makes it almost even for both sides.
Royal Ghost, how far can it get? Oh, that Flying Machine barely connects onto it. That's actually very good defense there. Oh, look at this. You see the Battle Ram with the Barbarians charging in. Not going to connect too much here. One swing from that sword. Hog Rider, one swing. That's going to get it. 284 and one fireball away with the log. Should be able to get the job done, G-Clip.
And he's waiting for that cycle, waiting for the elixir. And P.E.K.K.A is coming straight, but he does have the tombstone, so he can buy all that time. So he's got this game right here.
It's going to be a fireball, and one log is all he needs. But he uses the log right there, so going to have to wait for the second round of things.
With the Barbarian with the fireball, that's going to be close.
Oh my! Oh my goodness, what a tilter. That is an absolute tilter.
He did not have enough elixirs because Mahjong was cycling around so fast left and right all the time. Not enough for log plus the fireball.
Log, fireball, 6 elixirs was all he needed. He had to use that 2 elixirs onto that battle ramp.
But he...
What
it
if
was
he
a
didn't
choice.
use?
If you charged
That's what
in,
I'm saying.
he did not have the perfect timing. That was it was going to be very close.
Very close.
Yeah, very close. But you can't just ignore the battle ram charging in.
The battle ram charge itself wasn't going to destroy the tower, obviously.
Yeah, but plus there was a
plus
fireball.
There was, but that wall coming onto the left side with that fireball, would that have been enough in terms of timing? Because that 6 elixir
I think it was
barely
going to be
there.
really close.
Really close.
Regardless.
I feel like he should have tried that. Actually,
I know, like he lost it without trying.
Yeah, exactly what
I
I'm
know.
saying.
I know exactly what you're feeling. You have to risk it at those times, but he didn't. That is a rough loss.
It's a tough one to take. Oh, if I was the one taking that one, even in the latter game, I mean, tilted off of my mind.
Well, Joe, with that, it's 1-1 now.
It is, and the King of the Hill is still ongoing, with still 1 Kings apiece.
This format is so fun. I mean,
It is.
you only get one chance, and just toss it to your teammate.
Woo.
I love this format so much.
I love that game previously, and that, oh man, I still think about it. What if that worked out? We'll think about it later, because we're gonna go on to the game.
If it worked out, maybe it kills the beep sound on my left ear, which I played with the moment. But Hog Rider again. Let's see. With that tombstone, we'll be okay even without the tornado.
It's gonna be the Hog Rider, just limited to maybe 1 swing. That's all we're gonna get. So pretty good trade, 4v3. Trades really don't matter at this early stage where both players are heavily leaking out elixirs here. So that 1 swing is gonna result that tower to go down to 270, but otherwise pretty healthy. Side of Manong GP. You see a Hunter being played out here. We see this with the Royal Hogs very often here, but it's gonna be just substituted out with the Hog Rider from Manong GP here.
It's a very different style of
Musketeers.
Musketeers in this one as well. Super heavy for now.
I've not seen this deck. This is a very interesting deck coming from Manong GP.
We've seen this from Chinese League as well.
Okay.
Very strong one with the Valkyrie. They're really heavy, but you do have to split all the push.
The Valkyrie's still there. Valkyrie, you cannot ignore that damage coming in from each of those axe swing. And get that tower down to 875 already.
But look at all the cards onto Carlos. You can only see a few ground units.
Perfect sway away of those minions, and you know the Lava Hound by itself is not going to do too much damage, especially if that Ice Golem is there to tank up all the damage from the pops. And this incredible defense coming from Manong GP. Incredible there. Oh my.
Hog Rider is not effective, but once you get the tombstone down, this time it does not get a single swing, but because Carolus, he's relying so much onto air units, if that happens again, like Valkyrie going straight to the tower, which should not happen theoretically.
Oh, look at that Zap, just probably thinking that the skeleton would come back, and prediction play did not work out for Carolus. And you can see the Lava Hound being played once again, because the Fireball will probably be ready to get 2 of those Musketeers down. Not yet. Holding up for now, and the Balloon's going to be heavily invested onto that right side. Of course, Hog coming in with that one little Musketeer that's still surviving on the left side.
Musketeer also, the main problem is Hunter. He's taking down everything in the air.
We know when all those pellets do connect, that's a lot of damage for the Hunter. Still connecting on. Now Musketeer might just get a few hits here. Let's restop with the Zap.
Let's start the second one. And for Carlos to actually have the same kind of attack here, he has to wait a long time with that Lava Hound with the Balloon this time.
You can see the Hog Rider just being sent in to get rid of that tombstone, but with the log, it's going to limit it to just 1 swing, so still a very much a win for the side of Manong GP. We're going to see the Lava Hound at the bridge, and see what this all translates into. Of course, the Balloon. This is an all-in push, all or nothing for Carolus. If this doesn't work, nothing will. Oh, great Fireball.
Knockback, but it seems like it's
the draw. Oh, and the Musketeer's not going for it, and this is an absolute disaster. Oh my goodness. Manong GP, you played it well for the first 4 minutes and 12 seconds.
That was a close one. Fireball just knocking the Musketeer out of the range, and even with just 1 shot, explosion, the death damage right after could have bring the power down very close to the leash.
Carolus, a bit of a lucky win there. I don't think that was pretty deserved. Of course, he played it well to get to that point, but lots of mistakes coming in from the Manong GP. Otherwise, he played really well there, and we're getting a lot of close games that the opponent should not be winning, actually winning out. So, can we get more of these, please?
That's how you outplay with just 1 spell. If you know exactly where the units are going to go, if you have the perfect knockup. If Fireball actually knocks Balloon outside, for a little further away from the tower, maybe the Balloon didn't get a chance to actually hit the tower because the Fireball actually drew into the tower. I think that was one of the mistakes there as well. He was in a panic mode where he just had to send it, where he just got the 4 elixirs to do so.
Man, this is a very close one coming from these two teams. Chaos Theory really working hard to get that first victory on the board there, and they're very close to it. Carolus still the better king out of the two so far. We're down to 2 members, Altiboth and JTV. It's gonna be just waiting in line because it seems like, who is it? Jai coming in for the last member. You can already see him on the screen, and the last member up. If he loses out, that's gonna be a win going over to Chaos Theory.
One final game. Up to match point for Carolus to bring the entire match for them. The first one they could actually win here, as they have one more match coming up very soon.
Just a friendly sign of thumbs up, and also good luck's going into both teams. And Jai cannot afford to lose this one, because when he does, all that hard work does come over to nothing.
The Jai had 2 1v1s already last weekend, 2-0 and 0-2. So that's 2-2 for himself. This one's actually just 1 game. And he does bring the Lava Hound. Okay, Bren Esports using a lot of Lava Hound today.
I see Careless. See, go for everything here.
With the Balloon Miner onto the other side. Let's see. Neo Poison for now.
Nothing. Are you seriously gonna have no defense for that, John?
He wants to make his own push, but I don't think it's gonna be as strong as the Balloon. Destroying the entire tower.
He has nothing. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm left speechless here. And
he already used the Mega Minion and everything else to anti-air to the left side. I think he had no choice to actually defend to the right side other than going to his own attack on the left. That's what happens if you have this early, this kind of push. That's the risk that Carlos took, and it worked out perfectly. He knew the cards.
Does Jai believe that this was double elixir or something, and just sending out all those units on the left side, literally leaving yourself stranded on the right side, nothing to do with that balloon coming in? Poison.
Minor balloon, 8 elixirs taking the entire tower. Well, that's worth every time if you can manage to do so.
Well, it's gonna get everything down. Once again, good defense coming in, really easy. And if you're on the side of Careless, but still coming in, and the Ice Golem is gonna be soaking up the damage.
He does have a minute, and also the Miner chipped a lot of damage down to 14-15. He does have some time to work on it. He just needs one big push.
There he goes, once again coming in your face with that balloon, and of course the Golem. I want to talk about the Miner coming in very nicely there, and balloon is still going to be targeted now, and with the Mega Minion be melted away by the Inferno Dragon.
This might be like almost be the final push for Jai, where he can actually do chunk up damage.
If this doesn't work out, nothing will from the side of Jai, and still pushing in. Who's the Inferno Dragon?
Great fireball to get all the lava pops.
I can still see this here, 734, 707. It's all about defense of Careless. If he can defend this for 15 more seconds, that will be the one to do it. And let's get the Miner coming in. And good game being played, well played. He has the confidence that he's going to win, and rightfully so. He's going to bring that Miner out defensively on that charge, and Jai will go down. The King of the Hill will remain the King of the Hill for Careless, and Chaos Theory will finally pick up their first victory.
It took a long time, but coming down not to the very final game, but they do manage to grab 3-1 in this King of the Hill, and they bring the second match game. They have one more. Brings the momentum. I think this is not the best one, because certainly it is not 2-0 for them, but not the worst case scenario.
And you talk about bringing the momentum, but it brings a lot of fatigue too. Talk about, we're already 1 hour and 52 minutes into the broadcast. That's us talking on the mic, sitting in a chair, but these guys have been playing Clash Royale for 2 hours straight, G-Club, and they're up to another one right after break.
Well, they have rotations with the players and the changing of rosters that must help them a little bit, but still being in front of the camera, playing with your fingers. Of course, that's what we do in Clash Royale, but you have to focus in every single sense into that machine and basically try to win your opponent with that. But that's a lot of fatigue, yes.
And more than anything, it's just going to be mentally exhausting if you're already playing that game of Clash Royale.
It's better than 0-2, Joe. Certainly.
It is. And it's better to say that you're going with the win and you're kind of happy for the time being. But how long can this happiness last, really? And we're trying to go with Bren Esports. We thought they were going to take out Chaos Theory pretty easily there, but But it wasn't the case. It was a lot tougher one for Bren Esports, and eventually they did come out as the losers. And for those reasons where we thought that Bren Esports was playing better for most of these games, but one critical mistakes all go through, and we're gonna get the hot sign coming in.
We see it again. I don't think he had it with the Fireball Plus.
You don't think so?
I don't think that. It was close, but the charge was way too fast. I think that was actually the right decision, and he had no other choice. Great games though.
It's really unfortunate, but altogether, we are gonna see basically good plays coming in from Careless and the rest of Chaos Series to make sure they retain as that King of the Hill. But just one balloon. It's been about just 1 minute, really screwing up the cycles of Bren Esports all day today. I can mention balloon, I can mention canonical, I can mention anything else, but we're gonna mention about the interview. We're gonna go over to them, see how they feel about their first victory here.
Still, congratulations to you winning the game.
对，那接下来我们要问的第一个问题呢，就是想要来问一下，你们在7月到8月的这个休赛期，到底做了哪一些的准备呢？
First question is that during the break from July to August, what kind of preparation did you make?
Off season, sebelum season 2, kita siapin buat season 2-nya gimana?
Cek. Ketika end season di season yang pertama, kemudian sebelum season kedua kita bersiap-siap. Sebelumnya kita memilih pemain karena kita kehilangan 2 pemain kita dan memilih 2 pemain baru, dan kemudian ada 2 pemain baru yang asal Indonesia juga, sehingga kita dapat berlatih bersama di suatu tempat. Kita berkumpul di salah satu kota di Indonesia.
So during the break, we lost 2 players, and we managed to find 2 really skilled players. And during that time, we managed to gather in Jakarta in Indonesia to train together.
所以在训练的过程，在休息的当中，其实我们有2个队友先离开了，那我们也尽量最后找到2位也是非常技术纯熟的高手进来。那我们在雅加达，印尼雅加达这边就密集的训练，才有这样的成果。
好的，那在第2个问题的话，想问一下，就你们在前面对上这个 AHQ 的时候落败，那第2盘比赛你们是怎么调整心态，然后赢下 Bren Esports？
The second question was that because you lost to HQ on the first match, and how did you manage to adjust your mindset for the second match and win eventually?
Karena match pertama kita kalah, gimana kita ganti pikirannya biar kita siap buat match kedua?
Di match yang pertama adalah salah satu match pertama kita bermain sebagai tim, karena sebelumnya kita bermain sebagai individual dan baru aja main sebagai tim, jadi banyak miss seperti waktu 2v2, banyak kesalahan. Saya bersama Benzer, kemudian di 1v1 juga kami ragu-ragu, tapi karena kami sudah mencobanya di match kedua, kami sudah terbiasa dan akhirnya kami bisa mencoba dan menghasilkan yang terbaik.
So in our first match against HQ, it was our first official match up here for our 2v2s. So maybe there were slight errors and mistakes here and there. Maybe our 1v1 players might have been a little bit nervous. But by match 2, we felt like we were pretty confident by then.
那在第1场的时候，可能因为这是我们2v2的时候第一次上场去正式进行这个比赛，所以其实有点紧张。那不时会犯一些错误，那1v1的时候也是如此。但是到了第2场的时候，我们调整的就比较顺畅了，所以就还算是顺利的进行。
好的，那现在一样是再次的感谢他们接受我们的赛后采访。
Still, thank you all.
Thank you.
好的，那现在也是要进一下我们的赛后 highlight， 看一下他们精彩的表现喽。
You guys realize that was 2 questions?
Yes. That was some major translation in the middle. Probably lost in translation as well a little bit.
From Chinese to English to Indonesian, back to English. And it was a 4-way effort, but greatly done to get 2 questions in. They feel pretty happy about their first win, and hopefully they can get more here.
They need to get more because they're up right after this one as well.
One more commercial break, guys. We'll be back for our last series after a short break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back with Royale League Asia Season 2 with the last series of the day. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, guys, to Royale Asia Season 2. We're back with the action. Once again, still involving Chaos Theory because they haven't played at all last week, meaning that they need to play every single series that we have here today.
Well, we do have a book of them. Chapter 3. What's gonna happen? Well, Chapter 1, they had a hard time. Chapter 2, they have put themselves up a little bit more. What's the ending going to be? That's what I'm wondering here.
Well, the earlier adaptation won the best in terms of Chaos Theory going up against AHQ, but second series, they had a tough one by having to go through Bren Esports' entirety of it, 1v1, 2v2, and eventually the King of the Hills in that set 3. But eventually came up with that win, but we'll see what happens in the third series, this time going up against Kicks here.
Kicks, they had a lot of the other ones as well. And let's take a look at the rosters and the bans. Okay, Chaos Theory just sticking with that Royal Hog. We do not want to play with them or against them, so ban out the entire time, 1v1 and 2v2.
Even with the 2v2, they feel like the Royal Hogs are very, very OP. Understandable, but it is going to be Martin and Deal Stitch coming out for the 2v2. This time they're going to be banning out the Tornado. Very conventional ban there. Dylan's going to be coming out for that 1v1, banning out the Miner. How many times have we seen a Miner ban coming out in 1v1?
Last year and the year before, very, very common, but this year, not as much, not even close. Because Miner Poison was basically to come to win games, but there are a lot of new cards just added into the game recently, and it has not been banned for such a while, and we do have the ban. Still poison effective, we can see the barrel. You literally just replace the barrel sometimes, it would work perfectly in your deck.
And you look at Benzerido and JTV still sticking together for that 2v2, and Careless, the king of the hill of that last series, is going to be coming back for 1v1. Raybag is back in the bench, just going to be coaching his team on the sideline and hoping to help them out off the game. And we'll see what this means. Raybag is way on the right and way on the left from our perspective. But
oh yes, I know you guys are back. Again, well, that's certainly not the team. Well, we do have Kicks coming very soon. We do have Martin, Justus, Dylan, The Rock. Of course, this team also having 2 new players, so it would be interesting if we go all again to the King of the Hill, having 2 new players going up against each other. That will be another exciting one if that happens.
And that is going to be these 2 new players, actually, Martin and Dio Stitch, playing together in a 2v2. It didn't happen last time around. It was Dylan playing it out, and also The Rock playing it out as well. But this time around, The Rock is going to be in the bench on the sidelines and just trying to help out his team until we get to the King of the Hills, if we do. But otherwise, Martin and Dio Stitch, with Dio Stitch playing for the very first time, I would believe. I don't think he played the game last week, so of course Martin had his own little turn, but this time the 2 new rookies coming in from the side of Kicks, trying to see what they can do against this team coming in from Chaos Theory.
Yeah, last time when they did 2v2 it was Dylan and Martin, I think. Yeah. So it is first time Dio Stitch coming to this 2v2. Let's see how they do it. Because JTV and Benzerido, they have been the duo for 3 matches in a row now. And this first one, had some troubles here and there. Second one, a lot more crisp, a lot more refined. Third one, I'm pretty sure they can only get better.
Well, it can't get worse.
It can't get worse. Oh, well, it can, of
can
course.
It?
It can. You can always make a mistake, like if there's a barrel, like both of you.
But they already made a lot of mistakes. I was assuming it can't get worse. Hopefully the best
with the toxicity here.
For Chaos Theory. Hey, yes. You know what it is though? They've been playing 3 series in a row. They're absolutely warm though. They've been playing Clash Royale for the past 2 hours.
Oh yeah, their fingers are certainly warmed up.
Oh yeah.
By this time, it should be on fire.
in a good way or a bad way?
Good way, I would say.
Alright, we'll see if that's the case, because we're now looking at Chaos Theory, of course, with the bans that we saw earlier from the Royal Hogs and the Tornado. And we're going to see what this results to. Obviously, with these team players from Kicks, hard to expect what we can get out of them.
Joel, did you know they synergize? You see the Royal Hog, and there is a hog flying in that tornado.
You're trying to combine the 2 pictures into one, and
yes.
trying to clear the Clash Royale
and that's
lore.
Exactly why. Yeah, lore? No.
Oh, don't. That's why you're trying to create one right now. I was like, that's gonna get Supercell.
I can dig lore. I can read that all day.
I mean, I'm sure Supercell is in the process of creating.
We do have some cartoons and anime sometimes.
Yeah.
I love those as well. But if you have stories, it can even get better.
Speaking of stories, we're gonna get the Goblin Giant very, very soon. We'll see what that means for the next meta to come. But very always excited for new cards on their arrival. Of course, now look at it. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, because of the miner, it actually
Uh-oh.
the Dark Goblin actually got turned onto the left side instead. It was placed to go to the right side. That was their intention, but didn't really work out.
Okay, now we're gonna see a pretty good fireball. Good value coming from that one, but Enzorino, JTV, they're trying to capitalize on that situation, but didn't get too much off of it in the end.
Yeah, even with the early game not working out, but they didn't take too much damage, and they got their own damage as well a little bit better. If you combine the both with the miner, a few combos and spells.
And the bat and the miner combo still very much prevalent here, and we're gonna see this here. The cannon cart will it connect? It doesn't. Very, very close to it though.
Miner just shipping damage. I think this is what we're going to see with the poison. You delete the bats first because the bats will actually do a lot of damage if they connect. And that's why they use the zap on the backside. This Dark Goblin will actually catch a lot of getting down with the law.
You can see the Mega Man get a few swings. The second swing does come through, so that's a lot of damage done. And with that miner on the left side, with all these pushing units on the right side, and it seems like Kick's team are definitely ready to play with Martina Diasic. Pretty good synergizing here.
And onto the left side, 200 plus on the left tower for them to push all the way up.
Oh, they got a Tesla? That's a problem.
Actually, that Tesla placement is not the best, I would say. At least getting a dragon towards the middle could have been a better one.
Well, he knew that the guards were already on their way, so
Yes.
he wanted to maximize the damage potential. Obviously, he knew that Tesla's going to go down, but we get more from this. We're still seeing the miner chip away at the moment. Nothing to stop it here. Miner bat. Second miner being planted here. Of course, the snowball, that would have been better if that snowball was used to open up the King Tower, but
Yeah, it only captured one miner as well. It does have pretty large of a radius, but that was just unfortunate. Not really expecting the second one to come.
Tesla once again very effective there to chip out against the miner. And the scan card. Seems like it's not going to connect for now, but
If you have the Pekka, everything just chops into two. If you have Pekka there, trying to make one more attack with the miner, plus a nice fireball there.
it really was. And opening up the King Tower, but it seems like it doesn't matter because the tower will now be destroyed.
And they wanted to do
Wall
extra
will come
damage to the
through.
King Tower as well. It's 1-1 gone already.
Pretty even for now. Can we see more damage here? One swing does not come from the Pekka, so sudden death does begin with this overtime.
180 seconds. Bottom right one is actually pretty damaged. They have the poison and the miner. 1180 to go for 3 minutes.
Cheeky cannon cart in the pocket does not come to fruition there. And Infernal Tower. We thought this was coming. G Clement does finally come through, and this Pekka can it be stopped here?
Yes.
Okay, you're gonna
Usually
see
with the bats, Inferno Dragon cannot really do too much.
You're gonna see the miner once again. The double miner being summoned out. It's gonna get a few hits in, and with the poison, it's gonna knock the tower down just a little bit below 800.
With the King Tower on the back, you do need to have your miner. It's a little harder to do as much damage here. So you would like to set it up a lot better for your own push.
You see once again, oh, pocket, great reaction. Did you just see that?
Oh, that was great. Almost predicted cannon cart there by Chaos Theory.
Oh, it was a millisecond of a reaction right there. And you talk about reaction time. Very nicely done, but Pekka still rushing in, but to no avail. It doesn't seem like it's gonna connect for now.
Bats is built on top of that poison. They drop everything else. They have the poison. Do have the guards against the Pekka, so that's a nice use for them.
Pekka does get the swing onto it. And once again, the pocket. This is going to be working out. This is not going to be stopped here. And just an emergency threat. Barely gets it away, but
even
still.
the miner, it's in the range.
Fireball, 28. One
more.
walk away. But you just need a poison. That's all you need. And Bendorito and also JTV going to pick up the first win. So close on that one on this first race.
Yeah,
first game here.
that's what we see when you have the tornado ban and lots of poison miner coming down. Basically, all the pushes except for that poison miner, they were basically doing no damage, close to no damage. Few cannon cart damage, and that was about it. Pekka really slow, lots of small units on the other side, even the guards, so never really got to connect to the tower, very slow. But oftentimes you just take out the units that were coming towards them as a defensive wave.
Oh man. Thought that was going to be a win going towards these new rookies coming in from Kicks, but didn't prove to be the case. As we saw Chaos Theory once again hot on their heels, coming up for this first game victory. Can they lead us on to a second game victory? Because it's very closely matched, and both teams pretty well in this 2v2 so far.
Yeah, picks routine and Stitch. Not a bad one. It was really close for their first duo match ever in competitive here.
Yep.
Just poison away, poison plus long away, with another spell away from a win. So you can't really feel too bad about that game. It went all the way to the end of overtime, basically. So to start fresh game 2, you can have your chances. That's what you're looking for as you go in.
And it's been pretty similar in terms of minor. I mean, the primary social damage for both teams. In that first game, we'll see if this pattern changes for a bit. But it seems like the minor has already begun for both players already.
Minor is just so strong. The Chaos Theory, with them having the Dark Goblin, if they can manage to utilize that a little bit better to actually drag it away so the log does not connect too well, I think they can make much more of an attack with that Dark Goblin as well. Because if you leave that alone, it will at least connect 2 shots or up to 4. It goes straight alone.
Yeah, and that one little Zappy doing a very good job. Defending it well. Once again, the same deck shown by Martin and Deal Switch here, and Tesla being shown. Make sure he gets the defense away. That means the Pekka's gonna be coming onto the left side. And look at that rush coming in. Not gonna be stopped here.
That's great.
And a couple of cannon hits. We know how crucial that can be. And 10:55 already on the right side. For Rhino and also JTV, they need to be careful here.
They do have the Bat's Infernal Power as well against the Pekka. Needs some time. There's a Zap to reset. Now it's connected to the minions.
Pekka! Ooh, gonna get one hit.
Swing.
Second swing comes through. Oh, this is trouble. This is absolute trouble. And you talk about trying to defend against the cannon card and the Pekka at the same time. That's double trouble for you.
Pekka hitting the tower twice on a 2v2.
That's huge. That's huge. And you would have thought that anybody would have any type of elixir just to echo it away, but nothing coming through.
It was also a great Zap to reset the Infernal Tower as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Making it target the minions right after. That was just beautiful, perfect timing.
Poison coming in just to destroy out. Could have been a little bit better if it targeted out the tower as well, but starting at the chip damage now with that miner from the back. Let's see what this all results to. The Zappy slowing down the Valkyrie and eventually slow down the Mega Minion as well.
Yeah, 455. Chaos Theory, they need to make their own push on the left side as well. Getting that early setup, but they're not letting that happen, bringing down that cannon card with all the spells.
Okay, we're going to see Benzerito and JTV still moving on and trying to do a little bit of damage as much as they could, but
30 seconds. Okay, they do have the Pekka once again. Great fireball.
Yeah, good fireball coming in. The Tesla just chipping away onto these miners that are coming through, but 320 down and 199 on the right side. Benzerito and JTV, this poison with one more log ought to be able to do it, but they get as much damage done. 293 down to 209, and it seems like we might just get a tying game here.
Nothing else thrown other than the miner. We did see the Zap at the very end, but
very close.
25 left. Oh man, what a disappointing ending there. We had 25, but could have gone in overtime. One more damage. Sometimes you just having 25 or even 1 determines the end of the game.
And we are going to get these two guys, Mateen and also Dio Stitch. They get their first win as a duo. And we're going to wait to see if that translates to further wins here. Chaos Theory obviously really has to be field exhaustion, playing for 2 hours straight now. And let's see what this means. Bit of knocks coming in. Chaos Theory from kicks. Just to make sure you get this third game going. Let's see what we can get.
Both games super close.
Yeah.
2 digits away game 1 and also game 2. What kind of deck do you actually bring on the third game? Do you keep your Pekka, or do you try to go for the cycle, or we actually did not see too many gold lips today on 2v2. What's happening?
This might be the chip damage of the day here, and with the tornado being banned away, you can use the miner as freely as you can. And if you are banning out the Royal Hogs, what can you just expect here? It's coming in.
The same ones. Minor Poison is what it is.
Minor Poison is such a popular deck for everyone for such a long time now, and this seems to change. The Valkyrie's coming in, Fireball's coming in as well. It's gonna get 1 swing.
That's a very nice start. A lovely start for Kicks here. You do have the Zappies to slow things down. Chaos Theory there. Saving up elixirs for what? The lava.
That's what it was. And the answer was going to be coming to G-Cliff, but we're now awaiting for this cannon card to finish the job. And Rocket Russian obviously is not going to reach the tower in time. Feeling pretty normal. They will get this job done. They destroy the cannon for now.
Chrono Dragon to pair it up with what else they need? Feels like they need something else. They bring something like Clone like last time.
See Tesla getting the damage done to both sides, and we see all this damage going towards the Valkyrie instead. So pretty healthy for Martin. And also, Yo Stitch. Cannon card will it be stopped? Pretty easy there on the defense.
Just in time, getting the Princess Tower's range as well, getting that extra damage.
To be fair, it's not too difficult to get that done, especially
yeah.
for these pros, but we are looking at a situation where you don't have enough elixirs to get that done. That's when you take the biggest punishment of taking damage like that on the left side.
That's basically when you throw it down onto the bridge, the bridge spam. But Poison Miner just secures all the damage.
And even towards the tombstone. Yeah. All that maximum down. There, and 126 down. Sure, the Zappies will be able to finish them off. And no further investment will be met on the left side for Benzerino and JTV. Chaos Theory going all in on the right side, having little to no damage so far.
Double the poison.
Actually,
They want to chip on all the damage right now, and with the miner, they want to connect everything here.
let's see what this can get. The double poison is going to knock it down to 1436, but
Chrono Dragon already melted. The second one is here for the defense, but their own lava not doing too much.
see this still coming in. The lava pups not being able to do much. 11-10 is not a good number that Chaos Theory will be looking at. They're wanting a little bit more from this poison. Finally, we'll get it. This cannon card will connect. It seems like it was very close.
Almost too close. They have double the miner, but Valkyrie stopping one of them at least. 10 seconds to go. Have the poison log. You need more than that to bring it down.
Minor, that's what you're needing, and cannon card on the pocket. Be trouble in the end. It won't be a finish for Benzerino and JTV, and it's going to be Martin and Dio Stitch picking up another one, finally winning at the 2v2 for the side of Kicks, and we're going to see who can pick up the 1v1 now.
It's a great first win for set number 1. Chaos Theory, of course, they're having 3 back-to-back matches here. 2v2 seemed a lot better. It seemed like they had the confidence to just keep the same one. We don't really want to risk it having the Golem going in all the Season 1 favorite with the 2v2. They didn't have the Tornado, so I thought it was actually a good, not a bad choice to switch down to the beatdown, which they have been using a lot in the last season and should be feeling confident, but maybe with the different matchup with the duo for them, maybe it's better of a trade to actually go into the Poison Miner combo, which is always good.
Basically, if you ban out the Royal Hog, you are self-banning the Fireball, because you don't really need the Fireball other than destroying the Royal Hog. So you can go back to the Poison. That means what's the best card that pairs with the Poison? We know it's going to be the Miner every single time. We talk about Graveyard Poison every time and not, but you know the classic combo that's always been there is going to be that it's going to be that Poison with the Miner every single time, especially for 2v2. It works very well when you have double the trouble that you can put on the other side.
Yeah, those are the thing. When you have the ban card, you would expect this card. So because of that card, you don't really expect some type of decks to come out. Like the Graveyard, we expect the Poison to come out. So Graveyard, is there really a point? You're gonna be losing elixirs all the time. So that's why we don't really see Graveyard when we have the Royal Hog ban here. And that's how it functions. As when they go into the game, what decks do you really need to bring in? And they just choose the same one over and over again, because this one you don't really have a really good counter against it, but it's always solid. It does the damage to tower.
And no problem to switch now if you are on the winning team, but that was the best deck to go with, and it was all about who played the better. And that was the question there. The Miners and the Poison always going to be there to chip out the damage each and every time. Over the P.E.K.K.A doing a lot of damage on the left side. It looked troubling for the side of Martin and Dio Stitch, and we thought it could have been a lot worse, but in the end, saw the win go over to Kicks in the end, and did very well. Really proved themselves once again that they are one of the stronger teams out there, and it was showing a lot of trouble for Chaos Theory, who did have to play 3 series straight now.
That's why we don't see as much Inferno Tower in 2v2. A lot more spells first of all, a lot more zaps, everything else, even the Zappies now in the meta. It's really hard to get that Inferno damage straight on. And it doesn't move second. That's the thing.
That was a huge push coming in. Look at that wipeout
Yeah,
with one fireball. That's actually incredible, and really good showing by KX after a pretty short break. After their week 1, they show pretty good results, winning 1 and losing 1, and now they pick up their almost their second victory now because it wins them their 2v2 set, and if they can win another 1v1 set here, that will secure a second W for the season for KX. I'm sure they're wanting that.
Yeah, it's only very early into the season, but still everything stacks up for that postseason. So you need to get that maximum number of victory for the matches, and if you tie up, it goes down to the game number. The crown counts as well, so you need to be picking up the most every single game.
We're gonna see Careless back out again after he did win out for his team on that King of the Hill. He's gonna be going up against Dylan, a classic favorite that we have from Kick's team all throughout Season 1, and we'll see if he can deliver once again in Season 2. Week 2 coming from this guy.
Dylan, the master of Lava Hound. I actually saw a lot of Lava Hound combo, not just Lava Hound, not just the balloon, with the miner as well. Some chip damage from with the bats, even the clone. Of course, a lot less of an option in 1v1, but still. And he does like to go air a lot, so let's see what Carlos actually does, because he has been switching out so many things.
Obviously talking about the miner ban. It's been such a long time since I almost forgot the ban, but it is going to be the miner and it is going to be the Royal Hogs on both sides. Now this opens up Lava Loon to its fullest of benefits. When you don't have the main condition, a win condition of the Royal Hogs nor the miner, and we're going to see this pump coming in. See what that means, Dylan. See the Rocket just trying to counter this damage 6 for 6 here. Of course, no elixir advantage to any of these teams here.
Nothing big. With you gotta be okay, a battle ram? Wasn't really expecting that to come out all of a sudden.
This is a 3 Musketeer. I think I have to see a 3 Musketeer with the Giant. Deck I've been using pretty well myself, but with the pump it makes a lot of sense. All the cards are in line. I'd like to see a Giant being summoned out. There you go. Look at my predictions right there.
Yeah, perfectly. And this may actually be a problem for Carlos, because once you have the low elixir, really a lot of the goblins just get taken out mostly with the log, which with the zap it might not be the best one, but he does have the Infernal Tower in this as well.
Okay, the Infernal Tower is going to slow things down, but the Rocket is ready once again towards that mob.
Unless he makes a huge mistake of missing that or something, which is not going to happen to these kind of players in this competitive league.
This is definitely the 3 Musketeer deck, and the problem with this deck is what I like to use about this one, you're trying to just bait out the Fireball. And if your opponent doesn't have the Fireball in this situation, that's incredible trouble. And Careless, it doesn't seem like he has a Fireball for the time being, and I wonder if that's going to be troubling for him later on. See the 3 Musketeers down. Careless, I don't think he has a Fireball here.
They really have
Let's
two.
go.
And without the Collector, it's less of a push, but still, it's a big push when you have the Musketeer right behind.
And really the theory behind this deck is that you're trying to bait out the Fireball with the Minion Horde, the 3 Musketeers, with the, obviously, the Elixir Collector. It's going to be the 3rd usage already. And
But still, that wasn't as bad because there's no extra push coming from the Collector.
you see this coming in, obviously the Golden Barrel is going to be the main win condition for Careless. Going to get a few damage in. A little bit on the right side with the Princess, and let's see if he gets more here.
And even the Goblin Gang actually doing tons of damage to the left tower.
Now we know nothing is coming in.
About as much, a little more even with the Princess on the right.
Ah, this is the trouble. He doesn't have a big spell here. This is a lot
Oh,
of
look at that
damage.
tower burning down to 302.
Hey, now if you don't have the spell, just go
Princess is
all
still
in.
there.
One more. That's all you need. And oh, this is trouble.
And the second Princess getting all the Minion Horde as well. That's actually the best feeling when you take out the Minion Horde with Princess. Princess survives.
Now the resulting conclusion from that, even if you didn't have the Fireball, just go all in on one side. That's all you need to do. Goblin Gang, Valkyrie, everything onto the right side. Just literally untouched with that Princess obviously putting out the damage consistently. That's a way to beat the 3 Musketeer deck.
Yeah, because he wasn't really getting the Rocket taking the Collector out all the time. And also, the main problem was he didn't have a log. He had Zap instead, which does not kill the Goblin straight up. Log of course it kills. And it will kill the princess as well. That's basically the starting and the end. He did not get the kill on. So all the goblins along with the Valkyrie push, that just burned down the tower to hell.
And we thought that Dylan would have had an advantage knowing that his opponent did not have a fireball, but I don't think he was very aggressive with knowing that fact. I think he should have been a little bit more aggressive, just move forward. We're trying to bait out every time the snow that came through. Obviously the princess did a pretty good job of knocking out the mini horde with 2 shots, just literally negating that 5 elixir altogether. It was a little bit of passivity coming in from Dylan, which I did not appreciate, and that probably is the reason why he did not win that first one.
It was a tough one. Without the log, I think that was the main problem. The reason why he was losing the elixir trade. Because Rocket and Collector, that's basically the same. But with the 3 Musketeer, you would always be looking for the maximum push to do at least a little more damage onto one side, or both.
It is unfortunate. I mean, he had the perfect deck to beat out Careless in that game 1, but Careless really outthinking his opponent once again, and Dylan showing a reason why he shouldn't have won with that one.
Just nice spirit for the cycle.
You're gonna see the Goblin game.
I was ready to wait for the minute mark. I was totally ready. I was thinking about
These guys are all about the chip damage. You can already tell it. Putting it out there and talking about chip damage, it's not going to be the chip damage for Dylan as he stands in the Lava Hound.
We see the Lava Hound, but we see Carlos just swinging his head, saying, "Oh no."
You see Careless getting damage with that Goblin.
Yeah, Dylan's looking to bring down the entire tower. That's why with the blue.
Can we get that done though? Infernal Dragon, Infernal Tower. Apologize. That will come through. We'll knock it down. A great rocket coming in and making it just useless. All these lava piles will be targeting these goblins now, and not too much avail. And pretty much a successful defense right there coming from Careless.
Great rocket. What's after? Dylan is prepping up for another one.
They used a lot of elixirs on that one, Careless. You see how still under elixir after all that. And gonna summon the Tombstone, knowing that he's very much ahead in elixir. Seeing what Careless does open up with.
Yeah, the same push with just extra skeletons. It'd be so much more handy for Dylan.
And just get a few swings from those goblins from the Goblin Barrel. And looking good with just cycling here. Dylan being really passive once again. See what's so amazed. He's gonna be aggressive on the right side here. He's gonna have the Infernal Tower obviously ready to go.
Just to get the drag and some damage to the balloon, but
see the Valkyrie doing pretty good damage, and with those minions, yeah. Also trouble there, and oh man. 588, we didn't expect that coming from the blue. It would be an easy counter with the Infernal Tower, but it ended up being the Valkyrie. Minions coming in for the behind, and that was a very good defense right there coming in for Careless.
Dylan does have the zap to reset them. He doesn't even want to because he wants to maybe go for the left side instead. He does choose the right side this time.
You're gonna see the rocket. Oh, it does get it in time, but the Lava Pup's doing a very good job. Of course, the explosion damage maybe getting very close here, 285. Oh, it doesn't get it in range actually.
And the barrel chunking the damage down to 285. He wants one more thing. Explosion damage, super close to taking out. One more zap, that's going to be game. But he does have the Infernal Tower to lock that down all the time. He does have the Fireball, okay. So that's one more thing he can actually have. Fireball plus the zap should actually finish the tower.
Let's see if he can get to it in time. It comes the mini horde. They're just going to be there for support as well. But all throughout, the rocket's being sent out with the Goblin Barrel. Knock it down to 344.
One more rocket, it's going to be it. So Dylan needs to make something happen. The Fireball and the Zap, that's going to be game though.
He didn't have the thing in time, and the Infernal Tower is going to come in pretty late here. And it's going to reach the tower in time. And a bit unfortunate there, the explosion damage will get the job done. And Dylan barely getting at the win there. It seems like Careless could have just waited for that Infernal Tower. I wonder if it was not in cycle or not, but in the end, it does go over to the win towards Dylan.
Yeah, Rocket, you do want to, unless you have a massive lead, you do want to just finish the game with the Rocket if it has less than 432, but that's about it. It was quite far away from that margin.
I think he was trying to go for that sneak play where the Goblin Barrel inside the rocket where it's kind of visibly hard to tell. But no,
Goblin Barrel inside the rocket?
you know, have you seen that trick before where you send it at the same
does,
time
yeah,
and it kind of hides that Goblin Barrel so you don't see it as much and sometimes tricks the opponent thinking there's not Goblin Barrel and they react to it too late and you're gonna take a lot of damage and would have finished off the tower.
Oh, I don't think he had enough elixir to actually throw everything together because he was actually tossing down everything to make things happen. Well, certainly unfortunate that Balloon actually being super favored because he had to defend against that Balloon plus the Fireball plus a Zap. A little extra damage was going to finish up. He knew that ending was coming to this game very soon.
Well, Careless had the right idea. I give him my props. He knew what he was doing, but kind of sending it separately made it a little bit too obvious for that last trick up your sleeve. And we're going to see what this game 3 results to. We're getting a lot of long series today, G-Cliff. Starting off the 3rd series already. Like this 1v1 will not be decided all too easily.
Yep, you know what? You know when that happens. You know when we see the Roadhogs being banned? Yes. We go back to the standard again. No Rocket to respond this time. Maybe not in his starting hand.
Maybe another Giant 3 Musketeer deck could be a possibility.
Yeah, I'm actually really digging this. Dylan just bringing out some Collector. He could have changed it. This is some mind games going on right now between the two.
Well, it's going to be the Goblin this time around. Graveyard being shown by Careless pretty early here. So, yeah, oh, great.
Poison getting the
great
Collector
value.
and the Minion Horde, all that together. And the damage from Graveyard as well. Not activating the King Down was, of course, what. Of course, you have to get that down too.
And obviously, it gets another Zap down as well. And Careless pretty astounded by the plays coming in from Dylan. That one Poison doing so much.
He's just it's just in the lead, but he does have to use that Poison against that Collector many times, so you can't really line that up perfectly whenever he wants to use it as a defensive tool.
Yep. Just get a 3 Musketeer deck once again. We're still seeing 2 cards unrevealed. Let's see what this means though. The Archers can be putting a chip damage to both sides. Battleram, yeah, this definitely looks like a 3 Musketeer deck with the Minion Horde.
This time he actually chooses 2 different sides because that Poison is available from Careless. He wants to split that up, minimizing the elixir value from it.
Let's see what this gets, so let's see what we're gonna get. So Dylan getting another pump down in the field. I wonder if we're gonna use the Poison now. Might be good timing.
Dylan's just playing, even though Careless did get a massive value on that first Poison, he's playing with his opponent's mind right now. Do you want to use the Poison now? I'm gonna have another push.
See the Battleram on the left side with the Giant on the right, and we're going to see the 3 Musketeers once again. Hiding behind that Giant for support, and Battleram going in with these 2 Barbarians, trying to just cause some trouble here. And Hungry taking care of 2 Musketeers for that, but 1 on the left. Still causing a lot of trouble here.
Just 2 straight shots, though. That's more than enough damage that you would be looking for. You know, drop a little too early, all the way into the front, so the Graveyard getting some value after those goblins go away. They connect 2 shots.
Careless still moving in here with full elixir. Ready for defense to get a little bit damage onto the right side, but otherwise we'll be looking for the defensive into the counter is going to be his strategy. Musketeers once again.
Logs down with the Archers. Tesla just getting the drag with the buying time, but Log was just used, so having that Goblin Gang certainly helps.
Okay, we're going to see the Goblin Gang just trying to push it down. On the left side, we're going to see the Musketeer pick up 2 more shots once again, and how long does this last? It's probably not going to last forever if the 1 Musketeer on the left side keeps connecting into towers.
Maybe this will be the final big push. With the 3 Musketeer.
Giant coming in from the left side.
Already setting that up.
See the 3 Musketeers split probably once again. 2 on the left this time. Good Poison here just to get a little bit. All these Musketeers, but
the Collector as well, so setting up for the later push, but Dylan wants to make it happen right here.
Yeah, the Dylan's coming in. These Musketeers are still alive.
We're missing the front Goblins.
Get down to 459. The Tesla placed a little bit low, is not going to target those Musketeers right away.
It's getting super close. Dylan does not have a poison or the fireball to finish the tower directly, so he actually needs to physically make it work.
See this work out, and the poison will it come into play? The bats. Oh, that's gonna be just so daunting, knowing that you can't use a poison with that graveyard, knowing you have to defend right away, and it's trouble.
Which one to defend? Left side, of course, but nothing. He does not have the tools. He does not have enough elixirs for everything. And that's going to be Dylan taking the game and the match win. 4 kicks, so they will finish the second week with the 2-1 for the team.
Wow, that was a kind of a awkward finish to it all, because it seemed like Chaos Theory was doing pretty well, especially for that 2v2 where they lost out set 2 with Careless seemingly putting up a fight. And we thought he might just collect the win, getting down to another King of the Hill, but unfortunately it's gonna be them picking up a second loss of the day, all in one day. Went through a roller coaster emotions right there from this first series up to the second series, winning one and going to the third series now and losing to end off the day. Of course, second week for Southeast Asia. That's gonna be the last one before we see them back to the conference division, just going against the different regions out there, see how they do there.
I think we actually have a good lesson here, and the meta decks, the reason why we call it meta decks, we could see the reason. I think they win most of the games today, actually having a lot better of a percentage win rate. Of course, if they have the Royal Hogs ban, we can always go back to the minor poison deck. But other than that, we actually had a pretty good win rate with the newest deck. That's why we had them on the ladder so much, as well as competitive in all regions.
I mean, the Giant 3 Musketeer, just a classic that's always worked so well, has worked well once again today, and we saw basic huge advantage being taken over at Dylan. Obviously, it didn't happen in game 1, where I feel like I was a little bit confused as to how he did not win that game 1. He's been just struck on the right side with the Valkyrie, with the Princess, with the Goblin Gang.
No log was the big one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. Princess did about 1,500 damage onto that tower straight up.
We did. And of course, the lava helmet's gonna be the answer being played out in this game too, and it did work out. And we thought, you know what, it really relate back to. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
So that does work out when you're standing together. I sometimes get tricked by it when some of my opponents use it, and it is a good trick.
Yeah, that was the last try, last shot, careless there, but sometimes it doesn't work out when your opponent can actually just read your cards.
And this is when the 3 Musketeer Giant deck has been worked to perfection, and editing the set to make sure he had everything in cycle. And Goblin Gang this time around, instead of the Spear Golden, that was going to be the 1-2 move win, and same deck. And it's going to be game 1 defeat, but game 3 a victory. And we'll see what this all means for the winning team. Of course, with Kicks coming in for the first time today after picking up a victory. We'll see what they have to say.
那我是今天的赛后访问主持人 KH， 那我们现在也是马上来到了赛后访问的阶段。首先，先恭喜 Kicks 赢下了这场比赛。
First of all, congratulations to Kicks for winning this match.
对，那我这边的第一个问题呢，就想要来请问一下 Kicks Team， 你们觉得在这一次的对决对上 Chaos Theory 有没有特别做一些准备，或是你觉得他是怎么样的一个对手呢？
First question was that during the match with Chaos Theory, did you make any preparation against it?
一定是有的，因为如果跟上赛季相比的话，他们这一次是变强了很多，就是大家都看到，就是来一个那个亚运赛内冠军队，所以他们其实实力上是增强了很多。
Definitely yes, because compared to last season, they are even stronger this time. So we definitely have some preparation.
好的，那接下来请教的是第二个问题了。就在这个赛季，你们目前2-1的成绩，而且你们有击败了 AHQ Esports Club。就目前你们这么优秀，几乎是排在第1名的宝座。对于这次的一个表现，有没有要跟粉丝说的，或是一些感想
For this season, because you are 2-1 and you beat HQ Esports Club this time, so how do you feel about almost getting to the first top 1 in this season?
谢谢大家的支持，一定要继续支持我们，因为这个表现我们会继续好好的努力下去。因为在这3周，就是因为这一次是双循环嘛，就是自己赛区会打2次，所以我们的准备都是在这边做的特别多，就是几乎有个好几倍比之前。
So Definitely, thank you for your support, and we'll keep up the good work. Because this season we'll have two matches, so it's kind of tough, but we'll keep on the good work.
好的，那一样是非常谢谢 Kixteam 接受我们这次的赛后采访。
So thanks again for the interview.
Thank you. So that was the words coming in from Kick's team after their win. Of course, we didn't have a four-way translation this time around, but good enough that we're still looking at Kick's team. Might be one of the stronger teams now in Southeast Asia. We thought HQ would clearly be the favorites, but Kicks, coming up from Season 1, pretty weak on their standings. And we get to see a lot stronger Kicks this time around Season 2.
Hey, when you have the practice, when you have the meta, when you have all the Season 2 stuff down to your team, I think this is what happens. We don't know exactly who's going to come on top for other regions as well. This is only the beginning of Clash Royale League Asia.
And we're going to see the results for today's matches of Southeast Asia Week 2. All rigged on the right side was going to be our destiny.
Red for the win.
It really is. HQ, Chaos Theory, Kicks. The only time Chaos did win out of 3 series so far was only on there when they were on the red side.
Yep, and that's the only King of the Hill that we saw for tonight. We expect to see a lot more coming as we are enjoying that action, enjoying that format so much. But HQ dropping that was a little bit surprising as well. Also, Bren just coming up really close. Lots of close games today, coming down to 2 digits. But this is what we have after tonight.
So after the standings, that Kicks did pick up more wins overall in terms of game score is the reason why they're up ahead past HQ, and it seems like that's the reason why Kicks is ahead right now at first place. They are not even winning HQ, they're a little bit ahead when talking about the tiebreaker rules being applied.
Yes, and we do have to talk about that as well, because eventually it will stack. We'll see a lot more numbers coming in as we go through the weeks. We saw by the end, team taking seven matches, up to 9 matches when they go against each other. But this is only in the region amongst themselves. When they go clashing against each other, that's when the real action starts.
And the more and more the season goes on, we'll get a better storyline of which team is the stronger out of the region, which is the stronger region overall. Is going to be another question we're going to be starting to ask starting next week. And should be very interesting, G-Clip, as to see next matchup that's going to be coming up tomorrow. We'll be there for it as well. OG and to Sandbox for the first matchup, with Kingzone coming back to face up against Sandbox for the second series. And starting off and closing off is going to be OG and Entis going up against OP Gaming for the last series of the day. So we got the Southeast Asia action very much done and over with the regionals finally over for this region, and we'll get the closure of that for Korea starting tomorrow.
Yep. Kingzone just standing in 2-0 right now, so really strong in their stance. If they finish 3-0, we might actually have another new Korean dominance, because we saw same for Sandbox. Of course, they only play a little, and because last season they started off with 0-3 from Korea, and then at the end of the season, surprisingly, they just had it all together. So, over the weeks, they just became one of the strongest teams in the league.
And the more and more the season goes on, the meta changes and how well the teams adapt to different team strategies. That's the kind of biggest strength that we always like to focus on which team is the strongest out of the league. We're going to have many teams, of course, 12 teams competing for the best out of Asia. That title is to be won by the best team who can adapt throughout the season. It's a long season, G-Clip, that we're looking at, a complete marathon, and who can make it to the end, we're going to find out.
We'll at least have 2 different patches coming, at least 2 different patches, and we don't exactly know what that next next patches will be coming in, and they come in the week on the day after the patch. You have to practice, you have to show up a couple days. Usually we do have the patch early on, so they get some chance to actually practice and prep all their work for the league. And it's very exciting. We don't know what to expect, but all the players, how they actually gel into the newest meta, newest cards. That's what we're going to see, and that's the level that we have in Clash Royale Asia.
And for the first 2 weeks, it is just the first look at all these 12 teams to see how well they have played and how well they have prepared over the past couple of months. And this is the result we're getting. We're getting to see a new team called Kick's team really coming off the weakness they have shown and see that as a lot stronger team than they were compared to last season.
Yeah, we did see a lot of air units, but that may not be the same with Korea and Japan coming up tomorrow and the next day straight on.
And expect an incredible performance from Korea tomorrow. We're going to get back on the same time, 7 p.m. Korean Standard Time, as we get back for the regional day, the last one for Korea tomorrow. So we'll be back with more Clash Royale action tomorrow. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back tomorrow. We'll see you then.